What's going on, everybody? This is Brian from SneakerFiles.com, and today I present to you the 2025 Air Jordan Release Dates Ultimate Guide. Now, I know this video is going to be long. It took me about a week to make, maybe a little bit longer. So like always, greatly appreciate your support by giving this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe by hitting the button below. I'm going to go over all future updates. If anything changes, new sneakers get added in, that will be in future sneaker news videos. Now, I'm going to go over every single release we know of so far for 2025. This includes the OG colorways, older retros returning, collaborations, GRs, and much more. And not only that, I'm going to go over all the information I know. I'm going to give you the release date, the retail prices, all that good stuff. And for some shoes, I'm going to go over the history. Now, since this is a longer video, there will be timestamps. So there's going to be timestamps for months, for seasons, and even down to the specific shoes. So to give you a heads up how this video is laid out, we're going to go by months first. For example, January, February, March, and so on. Once we're done with the months, we're going to go into seasons. Those shoes that don't have specific release dates will be lumped into seasons. We have spring, summer, fall, and the holiday 2025 season. Those will all be broken down by timestamps, making it easy for you guys to skip around. Maybe you want to come back to this video and check something out. Now, it's very possible that the release dates do change. I mean, there's a good amount of shoes that don't have release dates. A lot do. So make sure to be subscribed, because in future sneaker news videos, I will be giving you guys an update on all that. And now let's get into this video. The first release of 2025 is the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Rookie of the Year. Now, as you know, Jordan Brand is taking popular colorways of the Air Jordan 1 High OG and making them into lows. They started that in 2024, maybe even before that. But for this shoe, it takes the release from 2018, the Air Jordan 1 High OG Rookie of the Year, makes them into a low. Overall, these do look pretty close to the 2018 pair. Obviously, they're just in low top form. The upper looks a little more tumbled in comparison to the original, although the original was tumbled. But this pair will feature a cell, black, golden harvest, and gym red colorway. They feature white tumbled leather across the base, and then we have wheat, or in this case, golden harvest, constructed of nubuck around the toe, eye stays, and the heel. We also have black detailing on the laces, swoosh liner, and the wings on the heel, and then white covers the midsole, and we have a black rubber outsole. So for those interested in picking these up, they drop on January 4th, and the retail price will be $140. In my opinion, this might be the most hyped release in January from Jordan Brand, and that's the Air Jordan 3 Black Cat. Now, for those that don't know, this isn't an OG colorway, but it is an older colorway. Now, they initially dropped on June 16th, 2007. Back then, the retail price was $125. Now, a unique element about this shoe is that on the inside of the heel tab, it featured Black Cat embroidered. Unfortunately, the 2025 release, for some unknown reason, won't have that. Now, some people may not think that's a big deal, but others I've seen express that it's kind of a letdown by Jordan Brand, especially since they're trying to get closer to these original releases. So why wouldn't it be on this shoe? Now, the other negative part about this shoe is the laces. So they do feature elephant print, and comparing to the original release, the shade used looks almost blue, and it's supposed to be like a dark anthracite. But aside from those two elements, the shoe does look good. They have updated the shape. They feature elephant print around the toe and heel, as well as the laces like I mentioned. And then we have a little bit of black patent leather. Also, the pair will feature a Jumpman on the tongue and heel. And the Jordan branding on the outsole will be done in white. Now, at the time of recording, this pair is scheduled to debut on January 11th. However, I have heard rumors that they will be delayed until January 25th, but I have not confirmed that info at the time of recording. So for now, we're going to stick with January 11th. They'll also be available in full family sizing. The retail price in men's is $200, grade school will cost $150, preschool is priced at $90, and toddler sizes will cost $75. Jordan Brand's Year of the Snake collection will celebrate Chinese New Year, and it's the biggest collection to date. We have multiple models, and I'm going to go over every one confirmed so far. And the first one is known as the Air Jordan 1 Low Year of the Snake. This pair will feature a Summit White, Photon Dust, and Barely Green colorway. Now that we have the official images, they're way better than our first look. Those images were a bit dark. Here, you can actually tell what's going on. So the shoes come constructed with leather. We have white across the base. They also have a snakeskin texture across the swoosh, shades of green on the tongue, and then another unique element is the Wings logo on the heel. It is iridescent, and it's said that the overall theme is inspired by snake eyes. Barely Green also covers the outsole. I don't think it glows in the dark, but it kind of looks like it could. We also have special labels on the insoles. And on another note, it looks like the swooshes will also have iridescent detailing. So yeah, these are definitely nice. And they're expected to drop on January 22nd. The retail price is $160. Another release from the collection is the Air Jordan 5 Year of the Snake. This will be a women's release. And at the time of recording, we only have a couple images. Now, by the time this video goes live, if there's additional photos, I definitely will make sure to include them. But for this one, they feature a light bone, black, cell, and Barely Green colorway. Now, the pair is expected to feature light bone on the upper, although it does look like a cream hue in these photos. Now, again, if we get new images by the time this video goes live, we'll be able to tell. But another highlight about this shoe is the shark teeth on the midsole. It has a gradient featuring shades of green, blue, purple, and yellow. Each pair in the collection will come with a snakeskin hang tag done in black, as you can see here. Also, it looks like the outsole will receive the same gradient treatment. So like I mentioned, dropping in women's sizing on January 22nd, the retail price will be $200. Another nice pair in the collection is the Air Jordan 11 Low Year of the Snake. So each year, Jordan Brand releases a couple Air Jordan 11 Lows. It seems that in 2025, they're going to release a few more than usual. And following in the theme of the other releases, this pair will feature a Summit White, Football Gray, and Black colorway. Now, what's unique about this pair is not only does it feature snakeskin print on the mudguard, but it has an iridescent finish. In addition, they will feature white leather on the upper, white covers the midsole. In a couple of these images, it looks like it'll have like an iridescent, milky, translucent rubber outsole. The Jumpman on the heel is stamped in, and that's pretty much all we could see from these images. Again, it's possible more photos could pop up by the time this video goes live. And this pair is also scheduled to release on January 22nd for $190. I really hope by the time this video goes live, we have better images of this shoe because these photos are pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. This is the Air Jordan 1 Low Year of the Snake. This won't be an OG model. It'll feature the Jumpman on the tongue instead of Nike Air. They're also going to drop in women's sizing. The official colorway on these is Phantom, Football Gray, White, and Black. Now it looks like we have white across the base, and the highlight of the shoe is iridescent detailing on the overlays. White also hits the swoosh logos with a snakeskin textured layover that also covers the tongue. The shoes also feature a white midsole and what appears to be a translucent rubber outsole. Yeah, we really can't talk too much about the shoes at this point in time. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough images, but again, if more photos pop up by the time this video goes live, I'll definitely include them. And for the release date, they are expected to drop on January 22nd for $125. Jason Tatum's latest signature shoe, the Jordan Tatum 3, will also be part of the Year of the Snake collection. Images just popped up of this shoe, and it's a bit more vibrant compared to the other releases, but it features a Summit White, Barely Green, and Football Gray colorway. Now, this pair comes with an iridescent tie-dye-like upper and features shades of pink, green, and blue throughout. It also has the signature wavy lines on the upper. White covers the tongues and laces. And then we have white and Barely Green on the midsole. And like the other pairs, this one will come with a black snakeskin hang tag. We only have the one image for now. Again, this is very possible we could get a better look by the time this video goes live. And they are scheduled to drop on January 22nd for $125. We have 3 pairs of the Jordan Legacy 312 that will be part of the Year of the Snake collection. The first one is going to be a mid, and it's also a grade school exclusive, so dropping in kid sizing. And the overall look on these is a little bit different in comparison to the other releases. So this pair features shades of tan, red, and metallic gold throughout. From the looks of it, I don't see any snakeskin inspired elements. The upper features white, and then we have almost like a brown hue on the overlays with some metallic gold detailing on the branding, and then a shade of red hits the eyelets, tongue label, and hinted on the midsole. So again, this pair is dropping January 22nd. The retail price is $120. The next Jordan Legacy 312 will be a low top, and again, it's part of the Year of the Snake collection. This model is known as Crimson Tint. Now, the official colorway on these is Summit White, Light Bone, Cell, and Crimson Tint. Again, the theme on these is a little bit different in comparison to the other pairs. They feature shades of white on the upper. A little bit of crimson tint is used on the midsole. Across the heel, we have iridescent detailing, and that iridescent detailing could also be on the rubber outsole. It kind of looks like it could have it. And then we have a white midsole, and the Wings logo on the tongue is done in black. So these are dropping January 22nd for $125. So the third and final Jordan Legacy 312, part of the Year of the Snake collection, is a low top pair. This one will also be available in women's sizing, and in comparison, it looks more like the mid GS exclusive pair, but we don't have an official colorway on these. In my news video, I was stating that the other colorway that I talked about for the Jordan Legacy 312 low was associated with this pair, but it's actually the other one, so I just want to clarify that. But again, this shoe doesn't have any snakeskin inspired detailing that I can see, but it also comes with shades of white throughout. We have some red on the swoosh, elephant print around the heel, liner, and then we have metallic gold on the tongue and heel branding. I'm sure most of you guessed it, this pair is expected to drop on January 22nd, and the retail price will be $145. Like I told you guys, the Year of the Snake collection is an extensive one, and also part of this collection is the Jordan Stadium 90. Again, this pair has a little bit of a different look in comparison to the others, and as you can see, the pair comes dressed in mostly shades of white. However, there's a splatter print using vibrant colors across the swoosh, which is done in black, and the 90 on the tongue. They also feature a translucent cell outsole. They feature Nike Air branding on the heels, flight on the inside of the tongue, and they'll also feature a black snakeskin hang tag. Dropping January 22nd, the retail price will be $140. So we recently received a first look at the Air Jordan 5 Earth in metallic gold. Now, these look a lot different in comparison to the mock-up that I put out some time back. Again, I did mention that I didn't know how they were going to look, and the mock-up was based off of the colorway, but the official colorway on these is Earth, Metallic Gold, Cell, and Muslin. This pair reminds me of the Gold Tongue Air Jordan 5, which dropped a while ago. Also, this will be a women's exclusive release, but the pair features white leather on the upper, and then we have metallic gold on the tongue with a shiny finish. The number 23 is embroidered on the lateral side by the heel. Earth, which is a shade of brown, fills in most of the midsole, Jumpman on the heel, top eyelets, liner, and on the inside of the tongue. Now they also feature a translucent lace lock, and it almost looks burgundy because of the fact of it being translucent. Other details on this pair is metallic gold on the shark teeth and a milky translucent rubber outsole. These are decent in my opinion. I like them. And for this one, they're going to drop on January 22nd. The retail price will be $200. Now, with all these Chinese New Year releases and this one all dropping on the 22nd, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these dates get moved around. So in future sneaker news videos, I definitely will make sure to keep you covered on all these releases. What many thought would debut in 2024, the Nike Dorenbecker Freestyle 20 collection, will actually drop in January 2025. Now, one of the shoes part of the collection is the Air Jordan 6. Now, I'll be talking about the Nike releases in the upcoming sneaker news video, but for this 2025 Air Jordan release dates ultimate guide video, I'm just going to be talking about the Jordan 6. This isn't the first time that Dorenbecker has released the Air Jordan 6. The first time they were released was in 2009, and they feature a totally different colorway than the shoe shown here. And to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the Dorenbecker series, they re-released 10 years later in 2019. So as most of you know, Dorenbecker is a children's hospital, and the designer of each shoe is a patient. So for the Air Jordan 6, It'll be designed by Jillian Beagley, who was diagnosed with severe liver disease as an infant. Doctors predicted she would need a transplant by the time she was in kindergarten. She lived an active lifestyle until she turned 11. That's when Jillian received a liver transplant. Her Air Jordan 6 is inspired by her gratitude and love for sports. The pair features interchangeable patches, unique toe boxes, and her handwritten mantra, "Sports are my joy." They also come with heart-shaped perforations. They're covered in bright shades consisting of green, blue, and pink. And the pair will also come with special packaging. Now, as for the release date, I was told that the entire collection will drop on January 25th. Also, the retail price is expected to be $200. When it comes to Air Jordan releases, February might be one of the better months in 2025. There's a lot of great drops. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the Air Jordan 3 Valentine's Day. Now, this will be a women's exclusive, and the shoes feature a washed coral, gym red, and cell colorway. As you can see, the pair features washed coral throughout, which is more of like a pink hue. Now, a little bit of a brighter pink is used on the overlays around the toe and heel. Now, if you look closely on the elephant print, that will feature metallic red. The official colorway is gym red. Gym red also lands on the Jumpman branding on the heel, tongue, eyelets, and the Jumpman on the insoles. Now, the shoes will come with some charms, as well as a cell midsole and a translucent rubber outsole. Now, as for the release date, this pair is scheduled to drop on February 5th, and the retail price is $215. Now, the $15 price increase, I'm going to assume that it's due to the metallic red detailing on the elephant print, as well as the shoes coming with some charms. I really don't see the justification in it, but hey, if you like the shoes, they drop on February 5th, so you'll have them well in time before Valentine's Day. Okay, so this pair has got to be the number one pickup, at least for me, in February, and it's the Air Jordan 5 Black Metallic Reimagined. Now, for those that don't know, this is an original colorway, but they come with a twist. I'll talk about more on that in a moment. And Jordan Brand is celebrating the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 5, which means a lot of OG colorways are returning as well as new colorways. But the first Air Jordan 5 in 2025 that people are really looking forward to, at least in my opinion, will be the Black Metallic Reimagined. So the OG pair dropped in 1990, and they first retroed in the year 2000. The 1990 pair and the 2000 pair came with Nike Air branding. Now in 2007, they also retroed, and in 2011, both of those times they featured a Jumpman. A lot of people were somewhat let down about that. As well, they had the number 23 stitched on the lateral side, and that is closer to Michael Jordan's PE. And then we saw another retro take place in 2016. That pair did have Nike Air branding. That was a really nice shoe in my opinion. So the pair is coming back. Now they're reimagined. So many of you that don't know might be wondering what is reimagined about them. And that will be 3M reflective detailing. So the Nike Air on the heel will be 3M reflective. As well, the overlays throughout, that will feature white. Initially, they were supposed to be 3M, but I guess Jordan Brand decided to switch that up. Also, they come laced up with white laces, closer to MJ's PE, but they also come with black laces, so if you don't like the white, you can always swap that. Now, the overall build is closer to the OG with the exception of the toe. It's a little bit bulky. They did somewhat slim down the tongue, make it a bit higher, as well as the ankle. And the netting on the tongue, panels, and the outsole have a blue tint, and the reason for that is to help with aging. So these are going to drop on February 8th. They will be available in full family sizing. The retail price in men's is expected to be $210. Grade school costs $160. Preschool is priced at $90, and toddler sizes will cost $75. Now, these are going to be a GR. Although they do have hype, a lot of pairs are going to be produced, so if you miss out when they do drop, I wouldn't rush to pay resale. The Air Jordan 1 High 85 Bred is going to be released in February. You could say these are returning, although this will be the first time they are released in High 85 form. So the overall build is closer to the OG. As well, Jordan Brand did update the shape on the High 85 going forward in 2025, making it even closer than previous pairs. So recently we did receive a first look. Somewhat recently, and overall the color blocking matches up to the classic Bred Air Jordan 1. Now this color blocking has released multiple times throughout the years. Different silhouettes, we've had highs, we had lows, mids, fly knits, so many different pairs, but the first time they dropped was in 1985. It's an OG colorway. Nike really ran with the band marketing, although it was the airship that was banned. And even throughout the years, Jordan Brand released campaigns tied to the shoe with the whole band moniker. In 1995, we would see the first retro of the shoe take place. Many thought it was 1994 when they retroed, although there was an East Bay catalog that I seen that had them in December of 94. I believe they published that early from what I've heard, and the true release was in 1995. In 2001, we would see another retro of the shoes. In 2008, we saw the Air Jordan 1 Bred release, but this time with a strap. Back then, they were just calling them black and red. And then one of the crazier releases took place in 2011. Jordan Brand actually called the shoes the Band Air Jordan 1. Now this pair featured an X on the heel as well as special packaging, but they went to outlets, and the reason for that is on the insoles, Jordan Brand put the wrong date when the shoes were actually banned. I believe they put 1985, but it was actually 1984. In 2013, we saw another version of the Bred Air Jordan 1 release. They also dropped a low-top version of the Bred Air Jordan 1, and then in 2016, we saw the Air Jordan 1 High OG Bred release. This was part of the remastered series. They also pushed the whole band nickname on that shoe. That same year, there was a satin version that was released, limited to 501 pairs. You can only get those at a pop-up shop in New York. And they dropped on October 18th, 2016, 32 years after the NBA banned the airship, not the Air Jordan 1. And then in 2001, we saw a reimagined version, which was actually the first reimagined pair to be released in black and red, and it featured patent leather. And then in 2023, Jordan Brand released the satin bred Jordan 1. Now, I know I'm forgetting pairs. I believe there's a Flyknit one, as well as a few additional ones, but those are kind of like the more popular or more well-known pairs. Now, as for the release details, this pair is scheduled to drop on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, and the retail price is $250. Now, the reason why there's so much, from what I've heard, Jordan Brand improved the comfort on this pair, as well as the shape and the materials used. The materials will be better than previous pairs. They won't come with special packaging from what I've heard. They'll come in the OG style box. But the overall experience will be as if you walked into a store in 1985 and picked a pair up. I think that's pretty dope, but the only downfall is the price on these. A lot of people have complained about it, and I totally understand. Now, another part is I'm hearing that these will be a quick strike. Initially, rumors were going around that they were going to be a GR, but they're going to be somewhat on the limited side, although I don't have 100% confirmation on that. Personally, I don't see Jordan Brand releasing these as a GR with multiple pairs at a $250 retail price, because 100% they'll sit at that point. But if they keep them somewhat on the limited side, then they sell out, and it gives the better illusion to everybody that these are hyped. So the next Air Jordan 1 High 85 that they do drop, which I'll go over later on in the video, might sell a little bit better. The Air Jordan 1 High OG Black Toe Reimagined will finally be released in February. Now, I've heard a few different release dates, but from my source, and the last release date I got was for February 15th. And there's been some rumors about February 1st as well. But at the very minimum, in February, they are expected to drop. Now, they were supposed to drop in October, I believe on October 18th. But they delayed the release and quite a bit, and the reasons for that I've heard is due to shipping delays, as well as some pairs were messed up. There was quality issues, so they decided to scrap those pairs and make more. Now, a lot of retailers have got their shipments in. That's why you've been seeing pairs go around for many months. I've had this pair on hand for quite some time. I still need to do a review on those, and I plan on it. But let's get to this shoe, specifically the details. So the overall color blocking resembles that of the Black Toe Air Jordan 1. This shoe is also part of the Reimagined series, which Jordan Brand takes a popular shoe and changes something up about it. For this one, it's closer to the sample pair, as well as a pair that was gifted to, I believe, a friend of Michael Jordan. So the pair does feature somewhat of an aged look due to the midsole, and a sample version of the shoe, which will be released, features Air Jordan branding on the lateral side. That replaces the signature Wings logo, and on the left inner collar, it'll read, "My very best, Michael Jordan." So that text will be very subtle. It won't pop or anything like that. If you're wearing them casually, people won't pick it up. I know some people didn't like that look because it was quite different. Also, they will feature a black tongue. They do come with special packaging. The packaging is basically a picture of MJ with the black toe sample Air Jordan 1 over his shoulder. I'll include an image in this video so you know what I'm talking about. They also come with special tissue paper and all that good stuff. So it's a whole experience when you buy these shoes and you unbox them. The official colorway on these is white, black, varsity red, and cell. And they're going to drop on February 15th. Like I mentioned, it's possible that they could still bounce around, potentially move forward to February 1st. Also, they will be available in full family sizing. So men's is priced at $180, grade school will cost $140, preschool is priced at $85, and toddler sizes will cost $70. The release date for the Air Jordan 3 Lucky Shorts was recently moved forward. So they were supposed to drop in March, specifically on March 29th, but now they're going to drop in February. So this pair features a white, hydrogen blue, legend blue, photon dust, pure platinum, and cell colorway. Now the reason why they're called Lucky Shorts is the color blocking matches Michael Jordan's Lucky Shorts that he wore when he played for the UNC Tar Heels and led them to an NCAA championship in 1982. He would go on to wear those Lucky Shorts while playing for the Chicago Bulls. So going over the pair, they feature white leather throughout, and then replacing elephant print, we have gray suede around the toe and heel, and it also lands on the ankle and eye stays. Now what's somewhat of a letdown to me and many others is the shading of blue. It's a bit darker than anticipated. That lands on part of the midsole, eyelets, Jumpman on the heel, and I'm going to assume the tongue as well. We only have these images for now. It's possible more photos may pop up by the time I put this video together. So if it does, then we'll be able to see it then. But other than that, they have somewhat of an aged midsole and gray on the rubber outsole. Definitely a nice shoe. It's very clean in my opinion, and they're scheduled to drop on February 22nd. They will be available in full family sizing. So men's is priced at $200, grade school will cost $150, preschool is priced at $90, and toddler sizes will cost $75. In December, select stores released the Air Jordan 4 Net in white, but in February they're going to release another colorway, and it's going to be the Air Jordan 4 Net in black. And you would think Jordan Brand would have learned from the first drop because people aren't feeling them, but maybe a new colorway might change some people's minds. Now, the image used is a mock-up, but they are expected to resemble this. Essentially, the overall build and look does resemble that of the Air Jordan 4. The biggest difference would be the mesh overlay shroud. It covers most of the upper, it expands onto the tongue. Now, you can't cut these away. I mean, if you do, you can't put them back on. Now, I've said this about the white pair and I'll say it about the black pair, is that the only positive I see about this is if you're a fan of custom lacing options, then this shoe is definitely for you. But other than that, the Black Cat Air Jordan 4 drops later on in 2025, which I'm going to go over in this video. So if you like just a straightforward Air Jordan 4, I would just wait on those. But these are going to drop in women's sizing on February 26th. The retail price will be $210. March is a pretty solid month from Jordan Brand. There's not as many dope releases in March as February, but don't get me wrong, there's a few standout pairs. Now, the first pair I'm going to talk about might be overlooked by some, and it's the Air Jordan 1 High OG Patent in black and white. So the nickname for these is Patent Black White due to the colorway and the materials used. So the colorway on these will be white, black, and white. And like the nickname suggests, they will feature patent leather throughout. Now, although this is a mock-up, this is an accurate one of what's releasing. So the overall blocking resembles that of the black and white Air Jordan 1 High 85, which dropped back in 2023. The biggest difference obviously being that it's an Air Jordan 1 High OG and they feature patent leather, but the shoes will feature white leather across the base. The same shade hits the wings, ankle, across the toe box, and the midsole. And then we have black on the swoosh around the heel, ankle overlay, the tongue, eye stays, around the toe, and the rubber outsole. Now the overlays are expected to be patent leather, and that's pretty much it for this shoe. It's a straightforward look. If you like something simple, this might be an option. And they're currently expected to drop on March 1st, although the release date may change because there's another shoe dropping on March 1st that I'm going to talk about next, and the retail price will be $180. Now that second pair dropping on March 1st is the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game, so the Flu Game will definitely overshadow the Air Jordan 1 High OG in black and white. Now, in my opinion, I think either one or both may get a release date change because I don't see them dropping both on the same day. And this pair features a black and varsity red colorway. Now, just to run it back in 2024, I received information that Jordan Brand would be releasing the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game. Well, unfortunately, they scrapped them. And then they were going to release the Bloodline Air Jordan 12. There was a mock-up going around on those. It was accurate. And then, in my opinion, they saw the reception that it received online, so they decided to scrap the Bloodline and bring back the Flu Game. So the Flu Game is releasing. I've still been getting comments asking if they're releasing to this day, even though this information came out months, and I mean months ago. Also, for those that don't know, this is an original colorway. So they originally released back in 1997. We saw a retro take place in 2003, and then another retro took place in 2009, but that pair was a bit different. On the lateral side towards the heel, we have 97-98, which references the NBA Finals performance, and it also comes with a sick emoji. The same emoji is placed on the lower tongues, and instead of leather, the pair featured black suede. And then the last time we saw the shoes drop was in 2016. Now, the reason behind the whole Flu Game nickname, in Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals, Michael Jordan had the flu. He still performed really well, scored 38 points, 7 rebounds, grabbed 5 assists, and played 44 minutes. As well, with 25 seconds left, MJ also made a 3-point game-winning basket. Now, there's a whole debate about this thing because some people say he didn't have the flu, he actually had a stomach virus. And from everything I gathered online, the Chicago Bulls were staying in Park City, Utah, and at about 10 p.m., Jordan got hungry. All the restaurants were closed, but there was a pizza spot that was open, so he ordered some pizza from there. I guess the pizza place knew that was going to be Michael Jordan, or at least somebody from the Bulls. So 5 guys showed up to deliver the pizza, probably just to see Michael. He wound up eating the whole pizza, and then shortly after, for the next 20 hours, he was puking. So some people say they shouldn't be called Flu Game. They say that it should be the stomach virus. Either way, if he had the flu or a stomach virus, he still played incredible because the stomach virus is no joke either. You definitely could get dehydrated, and obviously it's really hard to play when you're dehydrated. But they will be returning, and they are scheduled to drop on March 1st. The retail price will be $210. Now, more than likely, they will drop in full family sizing, but I don't have the retail price breakdown as of yet. Scattered throughout the year, there's going to be grade school exclusive releases, and one of the pairs that will be released is the Air Jordan 13 Pine Green. Now, what's shown is a mock-up. I have no idea what they're going to look like. However, the pair will feature a cell black and pine green colorway. More than likely, they'll have some sort of playful design on the shoes. It's just, at this point, I don't know what they're going to look like, but I did want to present a mock-up just for something visual to look at while I'm talking, but keeping this short because we really don't have much information. They're expected to drop on March 3rd, and currently I don't have a retail price on them. We have another women's exclusive. This time it's going to be the Air Jordan 4 Seafoam. So about a month, maybe 2 months ago, images leaked of the shoe. These are retailer photos. And the pair will feature a seafoam cell in metallic silver colorway. So the seafoam shade is like a green hue, and that covers most of the upper. The same shade of green hits the mesh netting, covers the tongue, laces, the heel, liner, and then we have cell on the tongue branding, the midsole, and most of the outsole. There is some seafoam accents on the outsole as well. And then tying everything together, we have some metallic silver accents, which lands on the wing eyelets. So like I mentioned, they will be released in women's sizing, and the release date is March 8th. The retail price will be $215. I haven't heard too many updates on the Air Jordan 13 Bright Cactus for some time. However, as of now, they still are expected to release, and what's shown is a mock-up. So the color blocking on this shoe is not accurate. Something totally different could be released, but the colorway on these will be white, black, and bright cactus. So the mock-up is done basically based off the color description, so it's very possible that the shoes will feature mostly white throughout, and then bright cactus, which is like a shade of yellow, covers the lower part of the shoes and some of the smaller details. Now, with all the OGs dropping in 2025, I would have really liked to see some OG Air Jordan 13s return. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, that isn't going to happen, although things could change. It could happen. Just at this time, it isn't known. But if you're a fan of this pair, they are scheduled to drop on March 14th. They will be available in full family sizing, so men's will cost $200, grade school is priced at $150, preschool will cost $90, and toddler sizes will cost $75. A Ma Maniére will have multiple collaborations dropping in 2025, and one of the first will be the Air Jordan 3. This pair is known as diffused blue, and the specific colorway on these is white, diffused blue, anthracite, and muslin. So recently, well somewhat recently, we received a first look. So what's shown is what will be released, and the pair features white leather across the upper, and instead of elephant print around the toe and heel, it features a rough suede. That suede is done in anthracite. Suede also lands on the eye stays and ankle, also done in anthracite. On these, it looks like the ankle and the tongue is a lot thinner. This element is something that A Ma Maniére has done in the past on the Air Jordan 5. They made the tongue and the ankle a lot thinner than it usually is. And then on the heel of this pair, we will have Nike Air branding. Now, the Nike Air branding and part of the midsole will feature diffused blue, and it has like this matte finish, which I'm a big fan of. I like the look. But what some people may not like about the shoe is the somewhat of age detailing, which covers the midsole and the back heel tabs. The pair will feature A Ma Maniére's A logo embroidered on the tongue, and then they'll have a black rubber outsole. So we only have a handful of photos. They're decent photos, and possibly by the time this video goes live, we may have more photos. So again, if there are more, I will add them in. And as of now, they are scheduled to drop on March 15th. The retail price will be $225. The return of a classic colorway will take place in March, and it'll be the Air Jordan 9 Cool Gray. This pair will feature a medium gray, cool gray, and white colorway. Now, this isn't an original colorway. However, this pair was launched back in 2002. So a lot of people consider them a classic, and they are, in my opinion. And then 10 years after that, we saw another retro take place in 2012. Now, during 2012, around that era, there was a lot of Air Jordan 9s that were released, and in my opinion, Jordan did a horrible job on the shape and the materials. But the last several Air Jordan 9 releases, they've improved the overall shape. They look a lot better, in my opinion, and the images used is a first look at the 2025 pair, and right off the bat, to me, they look a lot better. Now, what makes this pair pretty cool, in my opinion, is that Michael Jordan never wore the Air Jordan 9 when they initially dropped back in the 90s. However, when he came out of retirement and played for the Washington Wizards, he laced up the Air Jordan 9 Cool Gray. So for people who say they only buy Jordans that Michael Jordan wore, this is one of them. Now, the pair will feature all its signature detailing, including gray nubuck on the upper. We also have gray patent leather around the mudguard, which extends to the collar. The classic world emblem will be placed on the heels, done in white. The number 23 is done in white as well. White covers the midsole and some of the other branding. And then we have a smoky translucent rubber outsole. These are dope, in my opinion. I'm happy these are returning, and they're scheduled to drop on March 15th. The retail price will be $210. Originally introduced as a high, the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Obsidian will drop in March. So this is a first look at the pair. And for those that don't know, the Air Jordan 1 High OG Obsidian originally dropped in 2019. And those were going for quite a bit of money. At one point, they were reselling for a lot, and that was due to the whole Instagram Reels and TikToks that made these shoes go viral and everybody wanted them. And that pretty much drove the price up. Now, I don't know where those sit now, but either way, we have the low top pair coming, and this pair will feature an Obsidian, University Blue, and Cell colorway. Going over the pair, it features white leather across the base, all constructed with leather. We have Obsidian on the laces, eye stays around the toe, liner, wings branding, the swoosh, and the rubber outsole. Now, adding some pop to them, University Blue covers the heel and fills in the Nike Air branding on the tongue. Now, what some people may dislike is the somewhat of an aged look, which covers the midsole and the tongue. For this pair, they're going to drop on March 22nd. The retail price will be $140. Nigel Sylvester dropped a couple collaborations on the Air Jordan 4 RM in 2024, and now he's moving on to the Air Jordan 4 in 2025. So this is the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4 Bike Air. Now, the image used is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the colorway on these will be Firewood Orange, Cell, and Cinnabar. So since they're labeled an OG, they should come with OG branding. However, there is a strong possibility that it'll feature Bike Air on the heels, which I think is really dope in my opinion. And they're also labeled an SP, which stands for Special Projects, which typically means that they're going to be a limited release, but I'm sure most of you already expected that. It's a collaboration. Typically, Jordan Brand doesn't make collaborations a GR, but we should be getting a first look soon. I'm not sure exactly when, maybe in the next month, but for this pair, they are expected to drop on March 23rd, and the retail price will be $225. In April, we have a couple releases that don't have specific release dates, but they are expected to drop in the month. And the first pair I'm going to talk about is the Air Jordan 1 High OG Rare Air Cinnabar. So these were supposed to drop on January 18th. However, they have been delayed and pushed to April. And this pair will be a women's release. So the specific colorway on these is Cell, Cinnabar, and Light Bone. Now, each pair in the Rare Air series has something unique about them, something different. And for this shoe, it'll feature the Wings logo on not just the lateral side, but the medial side. So the medial side, it'll read Nike Air instead, and it'll be done in black, while the lateral side will have the Wings logo done in Cinnabar, which is like a shade of red. Other than that, they feature Cell leather throughout the upper, and then Light Bone, which kind of has like a gray hue, is done in suede, and that covers the swoosh and the ankle. This pair will also have an aged midsole. It comes laced up with two laces, Cinnabar and white. They'll also feature an aged tongue, and then we'll have blue on the tongue label and insoles. The insoles will read Rare Air. The Nike on the tongue is white, and then the swoosh on the tongue will be done in red. So kind of like the signature Rare Air is blue, white, and red. Those colors will be used across multiple models in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, this pair will drop sometime in April, and the retail price will be $180. The second Air Jordan 1 High OG part of the Rare Air series is known as Deep Royal Blue. Now this will be a men's release. They'll actually release in full family sizing. And the colorway on these is white, black, neutral gray, deep royal blue, and muslin. Now what's unique about this pair is that the Wings logo features Nike Air. That will be done in black. And then the swoosh, that also is done in black, but it appears that it will wear away. So over time, that swoosh will turn red. In some of the images, you can see it peering out. I believe there's a few sets of images that some of the black was already worn off, so you can see the red underneath. Other than that, they feature leather throughout. We have white on the base, gray suede on the ankle, and then blue will cover the overlays and wrap the lower part of the heel. The pair will also feature Rare Air branding on the insoles. They'll have a black tongue, a blue label, with the signature white and red Nike Air branding. Other details includes an aged midsole and a black rubber outsole. So these were supposed to drop in February, but they have been delayed, and now they're expected to drop sometime in April. Unfortunately, we don't have a specific release date, and the retail price in men's sizing will be $180. Grade school will cost $150. preschool is priced at $85, and toddler sizes will cost $70. We have multiple pairs dropping part of the Rare Air series in 2025, and the next one, which we actually have a release date for, is the Air Jordan 3 Rare Air. This pair comes dressed in black, chili red, neutral gray, military blue, and coconut milk. Now, I'm going to use a mixture of the mock-up and the first look that we recently received, but the unique part about this shoe is that on the right heel, the Nike Air will be backwards. Other than that, they feature black leather up top. We also have gray suede replacing the elephant print around the toe and heel. Gray suede also lands on the eyelets and covers the tongue. We have that shade of blue used on the ankle as well as the laces. Chili red will fill in the Nike Air branding, the Jumpman on the tongue. They're expected to feature Rare Air branding on the insoles, although we don't have images of the insoles as of yet. Other details will include an aged midsole and a gray rubber outsole. And they're scheduled to drop on April 12th, and the retail price will be $215. The Air Jordan 3 Cell will drop in April. Now, this pair will be a women's exclusive release, and the image used is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look just yet. We may see a first look soon, but the official colorway on these is Cell, Cement Gray, and Metallic Silver. So, according to the color description, the overall look will be somewhat on the simple side. The mock-up is done to resemble what it could look like, although it isn't confirmed or not if they'll have suede around the toe and heel replacing the elephant print. But more than likely, they will feature white throughout, and then they'll have accents of cement gray and metallic silver. Now, as for the release date, this pair is scheduled to drop on April 23rd, and the retail price will be $200. We got another mock-up here. This time it's on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Phantom. Now, the image used, like I mentioned, is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look. However, they will feature a Phantom, chili red, moon particle, black, muslin, and coconut milk colorway. Now, what we can expect about this shoe is that it will feature a larger swoosh. So, in 2025, Jordan Brand will be introducing, or I should say reintroducing, the larger swoosh. Now, from what I've heard is that the pair is released around 2015 on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. The swoosh will be slightly larger than those pairs. So again, the mock-up is done just based off of the color description, and more than likely they will feature white throughout and then phantom detailing. It looks like they're going to have aged accents as well, more than likely on the tongue and midsole, although that isn't confirmed. And then they'll have black and red accents. A lot of people were excited about this shoe when they saw the mock-up, more so the fact that Jordan Brand would be reintroducing the larger swoosh. I believe I leaked the news initially when I talked about the rust pink Air Jordan 1 Low OG that was supposed to return in 2025. Unfortunately, that pair has been scrapped, and a lot of people are upset about that because that would have been a really dope release. But for this pair, they're scheduled to drop on April 26th, and the retail price will be $140. In my opinion, this is a special release. It's the Air Jordan 11 Low Bread. Now, in this part of the video, there is a first look at the shoes, but more than likely I'm going to mix in the original sample with the first look because we only have the one image, unless we get more photos by the time this video goes live, and then of course I'll share that with you guys. But for those that don't know, the Air Jordan 11 Low is not an original release. However, Jordan Brand did release the Air Jordan 11 Low IE, but Michael Jordan was seen wearing two different versions of the Air Jordan 11 Low back in 1996. One pair that looked like this, pretty much the Air Jordan 11 Bread, but instead in low top form. And then there's another version with a red liner, and that pair actually did wind up releasing, but that took place in 2015. So this time around, we're getting the pair with the black liner. And for this pair, MJ wore the pair during the 1996 NBA Finals against the Seattle Supersonics, and the Bulls would eventually win the series 4-2. Now, the pair that MJ actually wore, he would wind up signing them, and they recently, well, somewhat recently, went up for auction and sold for almost $44,000. So the sale came out just before the announcement of the shoes releasing. Now that's different. That's a game-worn shoe, also signed by MJ, so I totally get why they went for so much. I don't think they would have went for any cheaper, knowing that a retail release would come, because that is a part of history, but I do find it a bit surprising. Now, the pair will feature the signature colorway. They feature black mesh up top, black patent leather across the lower part of the shoes, and it looks like we have white edging on the patent leather, which resembles that of the OG pair. The shoes will also feature a white midsole and a red translucent rubber outsole with black pods. So this pair is scheduled to drop on April 26th. The retail price will be $190. Now, more than likely, these will drop in full family sizing. It's just that currently I don't have 100% confirmation on that. In April, this will probably be my number one pickup. It's the Air Jordan 14 Ferrari. They will be returning. Now, this is a dope shoe, and for those that don't know, the Air Jordan 14 is my favorite model, so that's why it's my number one pickup. Also, the images used is the original release. It's not the new retro. And this pair originally released back in 2014. So 11 years later, we're getting the option to buy once again. And the Ferrari series spawned multiple additional releases. In 2019, Jordan Brand dropped the black Ferrari pair, which featured carbon fiber on the midsole and a quilted design on the medial side. And then we saw the reverse Ferrari release. Now, when the Ferrari Air Jordan 14, the pair shown, was initially dropped, it released first in Chicago, and then about a month later, a wider release took place. So the pair will feature a challenge red, black, vibrant yellow, and anthracite colorway. The pair features red suede on the upper. One drawback about this shoe is that the red suede tends to fade over time, so it makes it not as vibrant. They also feature carbon fiber detailing on the midsole, yellow accents on the branding throughout, metallic silver on the midfoot shank plate, black on the tongue, black on the liner, and it covers most of the rubber outsole. Definite pickup for me, and they're scheduled to drop on April 30th for $210. Now, with the Air Jordan 14, typically Jordan Brand produces less pairs because it's a model that isn't as popular as other ones. And this being an older release, definitely a popular one, these might be somewhat difficult to obtain. Now, they will drop in adult sizing for $210, and more than likely they'll be available in grade school sizing, but I don't have the price for that as of yet. Starting off May, we have a kids exclusive, and it's going to be the Air Jordan 5 Low. I haven't really figured out a nickname for them, but the colorway will feature pale ivory, fusion red, desert, and rush fuchsia. Now, the image used is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the mock-up on these I just put together due to the colorway. Now, I'm probably going to call them fusion red or maybe just pale ivory. I'm not sure, but either way, since it's a kids exclusive, at least dropping in grade school sizing, then more than likely they'll have some sort of playful theme and maybe some special detailing. Now, as for the release date, it's set for May 1st, and the retail price should be $150, although if it has different materials and things like that, it could jump up to $160. Okay, moving on to a potentially better release in May, we have the Air Jordan 4 Aluminum. Now again, this is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look. However, this pair will feature a white, aluminum, blue tint, and oil green colorway. Now, when I put this mock-up out, a lot of people were excited about it. They thought that it looked great, and I do too. If they drop like this, I would pick them up 100%. Now, before I get too far along, this will be a women's exclusive release, and at the time of recording, it isn't known if they're going to be available in extended women's sizing. It's possible, but again, it seems that Jordan Brand is releasing less pairs in women's sizing, specifically in extended women's sizing. So at the minimum, they'll go up to a size 10.5. But for the release details, this pair will drop on May 3rd, and the retail price will be $215. Now this, in my opinion, is a super dope release. It's the Air Jordan 1 High OG UNC reimagined. Now, just a heads up, the image used is a mock-up, but they should look something similar to this. Now, I'll get into all the details that I know. First up, the shoes will feature a dark powder blue Incel colorway. Now, this pair is part of the Reimagined series, so you can expect something different. Now, from what I was told is that they'll feature age detailing. Traditionally, that means for a reimagined pair, they could feature crack detailing as well as kind of like a cell or a muslin midsole, but that part isn't 100% confirmed at the time of recording. All I know is they're expected to be aged in some way. It just could be something different. Also, you guys might remember the lost and found Air Jordan 1 High OG. That pair came with a mismatch box. So the lower part of the box was your traditional black and red box, but the lid was different. It featured orange and white. Now, it's going to be the reverse for this pair. The lower part of the shoe will be orange and white, and the lid will be black and red. So if you really wanted to, you could swap the lids on these two, and then you would have a matching box. But either way, I think that element on these is really dope. Now, for those that don't know, this is an original colorway. They were released back in 1985. We saw another release in 2003, but it wasn't like the OG. That pair featured patent leather across the upper and a plastic wings logo. There was also a Jumpman on the tongue and heels, which is obviously different from the OG pair. And then in 2015, Jordan Brand launched the UNC Air Jordan 1 High OG. So far, that is the closest to the OG to date. And what's crazy about that pair is they went on sale. You could get those pretty easy. I know after they released, well after, I was able to get them for about retail plus shipping. Maybe a little bit higher than that. But either way, that's a dope shoe. And the last time we saw them drop wasn't a true to OG form. It was actually a collaboration with Off-White, and that was in 2018. Now, as for the release details, this pair is scheduled to drop on May 10th, and the retail price will be $180. These are expected to be available in full family sizing, but at the time of recording, I don't have the retail price breakdown as of yet. As most of you already know, A Ma Maniére will have several collaborations in 2025. And to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 5, they're expected to drop 2 colorways of the Air Jordan 5. Now, the first pair I'm going to talk about is the diffuse blue iteration. Now, this information I did leak several months back, and I haven't heard an update on it. Unfortunately, I don't have a style code as of yet, which, in my opinion, is kind of a big deal, especially since we're so far along since I got the initial information. Now, there is a possibility that these could be scrapped. I really hope not, because I personally like the shades of blue used, but I haven't received an update on them as of yet. Now, shown is a mock-up. We don't know how it's actually going to look. However, the pair is expected to feature a white, diffuse blue, violet, or black and clear colorway. So if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because I'll be updating you in future news videos about this pair. Now, this pair is expected to drop summer 2025. However, the second pair that I'm going to talk about next has a release date for May 14th. So if these are dropping, more than likely it's going to be on May 14th as well, or at the minimum around that time, and the retail price will be $225. Now, the second A Ma Maniére Air Jordan 5 that will be released is known as Violet Ore. Now, I just talked about these in a previous news video, and just to go over this pair, shown again is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but they will feature a white, violet ore, burgundy crush, and black colorway. Now, these appear to be locked in. There's a style code, a release date, price, the colorway, and so forth. Now, like previous collaborations, this pair could feature the A Ma Maniére A logo intertwined on the mesh netting. The tongues may feature the A Ma Maniére A logo and the Jumpman, but they are expected to have Nike Air branding on the heel, since they are labeled in OG. Now, according to the color description, more than likely this pair will have a white base. And this is a follow-up to the 2 previous A Ma Maniére Air Jordan 5 releases in 2023. So they dropped the Dusk and Dawn pair. The Dusk featured all black, and the Dawn was highlighted in photon dust. Also, the Dawn was a women's exclusive. The Dusk was for men. This pair will be a men's release. The diffuse blue pair was also the diffuse blue pair that I just talked about was also labeled a men's release. And as for the release date for this one, they're going to drop May 14th, and the retail price will be $225. Swarovski will have a couple collaborations with Jordan Brand in 2025, And the first one to be released is the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Now again, this is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the release is coming, and the pair will feature a stealth and stealth colorway, so it should come dressed in all gray. Now what you can expect on this shoe, of course, is Swarovski branding, but they're also going to feature the crystals. Now, I'm not sure in what way, shape, or form the crystals are going to be used, if they're going to be like the mock-up, run across the swoosh and overlays, or in a different fashion, but one thing's for sure, the retail price is not cheap. So these are going to cost $1,000. That's crazy in my opinion, but again, we need to see a first look. Maybe some people may like them, maybe some may not, but $1,000 is a lot of money to pay at retail for a pair. But if you got it like that, that's dope. I'm happy for you. And as for the release date for this one, May 15th is when they're going to drop. And like I mentioned, the retail price will be $1,000. We have an older Air Jordan 12 colorway set to return in 2025, and this pair is known as Mellow. While it isn't a collaboration with Carmelo Anthony, the shoe was released kind of as a tribute to him when he played for the Denver Nuggets. Signed to Jordan Brand back in the early 2000s, and for this colorway, they released in 2004. The overall color blocking is very similar to Carmelo Anthony's PE, but it had his number 15 embroidered. And when they initially dropped, these were a women's exclusive. Now, a lot of people were upset back at that time, and Jordan Brand heard the feedback and would eventually release them again, but this time in men's sizing. Now, in 2016, Jordan Brand released a very similar pair. That one was known as University Blue. Now, the color blocking was almost, and I mean almost on point to the Mellow pair, although it did look slightly brighter, but the 2016 featured metallic gold on the eyelets, whereas the OG Mellow has metallic silver. Now, the pair will feature a white, University Blue, and metallic silver colorway. The pair will feature white leather throughout. It'll also run across the mudguard, part of the midsole, tongue, and then on the laces. My favorite part of the shoe is the University Blue detailing, which lands on the branding, liner, most of the outsole, and heel. Again, these won't feature any Carmelo Anthony branding. They're not expected to unless they switch things up, but I don't see that happening. What I was told is that these are the Mellow 12s. And moving on to the release details, they are scheduled to drop on May 17th. The retail price will be $200. This is another pair that more than likely will drop in full family sizing. At the time of recording, I don't have the retail price breakdown for grade school and down. This has got to be in my top 5 of releases for 2025, and it's the return of the Air Jordan 4 White Cement. Now, I know a lot of people are excited about this pair returning. Man, these are definitely a classic. So, when Z and I broke the news about these returning sometime back, there was an initial rumor going around that these were going to be reimagined, but I was able to confirm that they're not. So they're going to be like the OG. Yes, they will feature Nike Air branding. The overall shape will be improved. It'll be closer to the OG mold. And as for the colorway on this one, they'll feature a Summit White, Fire Red, Tech Gray, and Black. Now, I did see a preview shot of this shoe, so we might be getting a first look very soon. So if that is the case, then those will be the images I use for this video. If not, then I'm going to use a mixture of the OG and some of the older retros. Now, for those that don't know, which I'm sure everybody does, this is an original colorway. They were released back in 1989, and back then, these were somewhat featured in the film Do the Right Thing. There is a scene where the character Bugging Out got his white cement Jordan 4 scuffed by somebody passing by on a bike. A back and forth ensued, and then Bugging Out was left to clean his pair with a toothbrush. That was a pretty dope scene, and I believe in 2016 or around that time, Jordan Brand created a friends and family pair that resembled Bugging Out's pair. So, for the first time, we would see a retro in 1999, which marked its 10th anniversary. Of course, that pair featured Nike Air branding, and it resembled the OG. We would see another release in 2012. However, instead of Nike Air, Jordan Brand added the Jumpman. Now, a lot of people were upset about that at that time. They wanted Nike Air. I was one of them. I would rather have Nike Air, but I did buy the shoes, and a lot of people did as well. Nowadays, people actually look for the pair with the Jumpman on it. And then the last time we saw the shoes drop was in 2016. That pair did feature Nike Air branding, but the shape wasn't really on point. But at that time, we were kind of used to the off shape. But for 2025, they will be updating the shape. That's always a plus. They will look closer to the OG. And going over the pair, they feature white leather up top, as well as the mesh. We'll have cement print on the wing eyelets, part of the midsole and back heel tab. Speaking of the back heel tab, the Nike Air will be done in black. Black also hits the eyelets, part of the midsole and outsole. They'll also have a red Jumpman on the tongue. Like I mentioned, these are top 5 for me. Now, they will be a GR. There's going to be tons, and I mean tons of pairs available, and they are expected to be available in full family sizing, but again, I don't have the retail price breakdown. Now, the retail price has gone up. Instead of $215 for your traditional Air Jordan 4, they're going to cost $225. Now, it appears that every Air Jordan 4 with Nike Air branding will go up $10, as well as collaborations. Now, as for the release date, this pair will drop on May 24th, and like I mentioned, the retail price will be $225. As it stands right now, June is looking like there's not a lot of releases in it. However, that isn't going to be the case. There's a lot of shoes in this video that we don't have release dates for that are part of Jordan Brand's summer 2025 lineup. So as we get closer to June, this month will definitely fill up full of releases. Now, we did have quite a few releases in June, but they have been delayed, and I'm going to go over that later on in the video, of course. And like always, make sure to be subscribed because I'll keep you in the loop of all these upcoming releases. Now, the first pair I'm going to talk about is another grade school exclusive, and this is the Air Jordan 4 Light Lemon Twist. Now, the image used is a mock-up. Again, I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the pair will feature a white light lemon twist in light graphite colorway. So this will be a grade school exclusive, and they should drop in preschool and toddler as well. Now, more than likely, they will feature some sort of different elements to the shoe, maybe shiny materials, have some sort of theme. That part just isn't known at the time of recording, and they're expected to drop on June 1st. The retail price should be $150, but again, if Jordan Brand switches up the materials, adds a theme, it could jump up to $160. Also dropping in June is the Air Jordan 11 Low Igloo. This pair will feature a white, and igloo colorway, and they're going to drop in women's sizing. Now, the image used is a mock-up. However, I suspect that we should be getting something similar to this because the color description is so simple. And it's been like that on a few previous Air Jordan 11 Low releases, and the color blocking was very similar to this. So I suspect that they'll feature a white upper and igloo, which is like a greenish hue on the patent leather overlay and across the semi-translucent rubber outsole, as well as some of the branding. Now, we should be getting a first look maybe in the next couple of months, give or take, so I'll be able to confirm it. And as for the release date, this pair will drop on June 7th, and the retail price will be $190. Jordan Brand is also releasing a women's Air Jordan 1 Low OG in June. This is the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Washed Teal. Now, it kind of has a similar color theme as the Air Jordan 11 Igloo. The shade of green used will pop a little bit more, and the official colorway on these is Cell, Washed Teal, and Pale Ivory. So this is a mock-up. Not sure how they're going to look, but due to the color description, more than likely they will feature a white upper and age detailing, more than likely on the midsole, possibly the tongue and laces. And one thing we can count on for this shoe is that they'll feature a larger swoosh. So Jordan Brand will start to introduce the large swoosh on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG in 2025. There's a couple releases to start out with that won't have it, but later on in the year, we'll start getting them, for example, on this pair. And the shoes will drop on June 18th, and the retail price will be $140. July is stacked. There's a ton of releases from Jordan Brand in July and a lot of great releases. Now, it's possible some of these could be moved to June because June is looking on the low side as of now. But the first pair that was actually supposed to release in June got pushed to fall. And now what I'm hearing is that they're going to drop in July is the undefeated Air Jordan 4. Now, there's going to be two versions of the shoe, and I'm going to go over all the details here. Now, this release will celebrate the 20th anniversary of the undefeated Air Jordan 4. They originally released in 2005. They were originally released exclusively at Undefeated, and what's so special about this pair is it's the first boutique that got a collaboration with Jordan Brand. So when they dropped in 2005, they were limited to 72 pairs. The way to purchase would be via an in-store raffle, but Undefeated also had an online auction. Friends and family also received special pairs as well. Now, each pair came with unique packaging. It wasn't the standard Michael Jordan face box that was used at that time, but they collaborated with a brand called Encase. So they came with a special bag that you were able to zip or unzip. Now, I don't expect the 2025 pair to have that, although those details aren't confirmed. And the shoes will feature a deep green, clementine, black, and cell colorway. Now, like I mentioned, there's two versions that will be available. One version will have Nike Air branding on the heel, and the other will have a Jumpman, which is like the original release. Now, what we don't know at this time is how the two will be released. One of them could be a friends and family exclusive or released exclusively at the boutique, and then the other pair would be widely available. And when I say widely, I don't mean like at Foot Lockers and stuff like that. This is a shoe that will still be limited. It's just that a lot more pairs will be made in comparison to the 72 that originally released. So more than likely, these are going to be available on the Sneakers app as well as boutiques. And with the amount of hype for this shoe, and they're still being limited, yeah, these aren't going to be easy to obtain. Also, depending on how they release one or the other, one could be a lot more as far as resale price goes than the other. What I think is cool, and I said this on the news videos, is it would be dope if they did a mystery box style. You didn't know which one you're going to get. It kind of would add to like the chase if you wanted both. And it gives everybody kind of a fair shot at either or. Now, as for the release details, they were supposed to drop in June, specifically on June 28th. However, I was told by my source that they were moved to fall. So fall means that it could take place between July and September. And then I heard another update that they're expected to release sometime in July. So July is looking like that's when they're going to drop. Also, Undefeated is releasing the Air Jordan Renegade jacket, which is inspired by the MA-1 flight jacket, which also inspires this shoe. So it'll be a matching jacket available. The jacket will cost $325 and the shoes will retail at $225 each. As most of you know, Jordan Brand is celebrating the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 5, which means in 2025 we're getting a lot of Air Jordan 5 releases. And the next one to talk about is known as the Air Jordan 5 Luminous Green. Now, this is going to be a women's exclusive release, and the image shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the official colorway on these is Cell, Luminous Green, and Anthracite. So more than likely they will come dressed in mostly white and feature green and anthracite detailing. Now, as for the release details, this pair will drop on July 5th. The retail price will be $200. Celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Air Jordan 1 High OG Shattered Backboard, the pair will return in 2025. When these initially dropped, there was a ton of hype for them, and they dropped back in 2015. This colorway spawned a bunch of different releases. In 2016, Jordan Brand released the Shattered Backboard Away iteration. In May 2018, we saw a satin pair, which was available in women's sizing. And then we saw the Shattered Backboard 3.0 drop in 2019. There's also other models that use the theme, for example, the Air Jordan 5. And the overall color blocking is a tribute to Michael Jordan's dunk during a 1985 exhibition game in Italy. His uniform was orange, black, and white, which matches up to this shoe. And then across the insoles, we have a bunch of shattered glass. Now, the official colorway on these is black, cell, and starfish. And going over the pair, they are constructed with leather, featuring cell across the base, black leather on the overlays, ankle, swoosh, and wings logo. Starfish, which is orange, covers the toe box, ankle overlays around the heel, Nike Air branding, and the rubber outsole. Now, what this pair is really known for is its quality. The leather quality on these are very nice, the original. Now, I recently spoke to someone who had them in hand. They had the sample, and what they told me is that the quality is not as good as the original release. It's better than your traditional Air Jordan ones, but it's not as good. So it's kind of in the middle. Now, if you don't care about the builds and the leather quality and you just like the look, I'm sure that doesn't bother you. That could bother some people because the quality on them was one of the top factors about the shoe and why it drove up the price and all that other stuff. But these will be available in full family sizing. I don't have the retail price breakdown for grade school and below, but the retail price in men's will be $180. Also, for the release date, they're going to drop on July 12th. Okay, so we have another orange Air Jordan dropping in July. This will be the Air Jordan 3 Orange Trance. Now, I did receive additional information about this shoe. Shown is a mock-up, but what releases will look different. Now, I don't know the color blocking on these, but what I was told is that the shoes will feature canvas across the upper, dressed in mostly orange. Now, initially in my news videos, I thought that this was going to potentially be a WNBA Air Jordan 3 release. As some of you may know, in 2024, Jordan Brand released the Air Jordan 3 WNBA, also known as Desert Camo. Now, that pair did feature a little bit of orange on it, and since WNBA All-Star Weekend takes place in about the middle of July, I thought this was going to be the WNBA release. But what I was told is this is actually going to be a shattered backboard release. So Jordan Brand is releasing, I believe it's called the Shattered Expressions pack, which will be the OG Air Jordan 1 High OG and this pair. Now, if I forgot to mention, this will be a women's release. So as for this specific colorway, it features Orange Trance, Cell, and Starfish. They're labeled in Air Jordan 3 women's text. So text will be textile, the canvas upper. And as for the release date, this pair is also dropping on July 12th, and the retail price will be $200. Initially, when details came out about the Air Jordan 10 still returning in 2025, a lot of people were happy. But then it was confirmed that the pair would have a toe cap, and that led a lot of people to be upset. Don't get me wrong, there's still some people that are happy about it, and I'm going to go over the history and all that stuff and talk about why it's present. But this pair will feature a white, black, and light steel gray colorway, and this is an original colorway. They were originally released in 1994, and there was two versions of the shoe initially released, one with the toe cap and one without. And as for the story of the toe cap, what I've gathered, Michael Jordan was away playing baseball. It was rumored that he missed a few meetings with Tinker Hatfield, who designed the shoes. And on previous models, Michael Jordan had a lot of input about the look. But on the Jordan 10, I guess he wasn't around, so he didn't have as much input on it as he initially wanted. And Nike would put the Air Jordan 10 with a toe cap in production. MJ finally met up with Tinker, and he wasn't happy with the toe cap. He thought it looked ugly and wanted it removed. But by this time, it was too late. Nike already finished the production, and the Jordan 10 still with the toe cap was released. However, from what I've heard is that Nike recalled this shoe, and after they did the recall, they would release the pair without the toe cap, giving it an overall cleaner look. Now, of course, people kept the shoes, so you will see some pairs with the toe cap floating around. Some people have them in their collections, but it raises the question is, if Michael Jordan wasn't a fan of it, why release them now? I get the whole history part of it, but that's what a lot of people have asked in the comment section on previous videos. Shout out to you guys. And it's a good point. But either way, this pair will have a toe cap. Now, as for the overall look, this pair features white leather on the upper with black tumbled leather on the eye stays. They also come with a checkered pattern on the liner, gray on the eyelets, and then resembling the original pair, powder blue will be used on the Jumpman on the outsole instead of red. Red was used on a few of the previous releases. The overall shape is expected to be closer to the 1994 pair. It'll also read Air Jordan 23 on the tongues and have Michael Jordan's accolades on the rubber outsole. So as for the release date, this pair will drop on July 19th and the retail price will be $210. This has got to be my favorite release in July and definitely top 5 releases in 2025. It's the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red with the black tongue. So somewhat recently, I announced that the shoes would be returning to retailers, which a lot of people are happy about. A lot of people like this version of the Fire Red over the Silver Tongue pair, which returned in 2020. Now, Jordan Brand is going hard on the Air Jordan 5 in 2025 because it celebrates its 35th anniversary. Now, this pair is an original colorway which dropped back in 1990. We would see the first retro take place in 2006. That pair featured a Jumpman on the tongue, and the font on those was horrible. The 23 font, I wasn't a fan of it, but the overall color blocking was definitely nice. And then the last time we saw them drop was in 2013. Again, font wasn't great. They also featured a Jumpman. So a lot of people want this pair to return, and when they do in 2025, they will have Nike Air branding throughout. Now, as for the 23 on the heel, I haven't shared this information in any of my news videos, but what I was told is that the font is somewhere in between the original font and some of the newer font that we see used on the 23. So it's not going to be identical from what I heard, but it'll be better. That obviously could change because it was a sample pair, but I'm really hoping that they get the font right on this shoe. But the 2025 release will feature a white, fire red, and black colorway. The pair will feature white leather on the upper, translucent mesh netting will hit the panels and lower part of the tongue, and then the 23 will be embroidered on the lateral side. They'll also feature black Nike Air on the heels, black will cover the tongue, red hits the Jumpman and liner, and then both black and red fill in most of the midsole. Lastly, this pair will feature a semi-translucent rubber outsole. Now, at the time of recording, this pair is scheduled to drop on July 26th, and the retail price is expected to be $210. Now, this will be a big GR. There's going to be tons of pairs available, and they're expected to be available in full family sizing. But on a side note, what I wanted to add in, don't be surprised if this pair gets delayed, because I'm hearing some things, and it's possible they could get delayed out of July, but like always, if that does happen, I'll make sure to let you guys know in a future sneaker news video. In August, we have another grade school exclusive. This time it's going to be on the Air Jordan 4. So this pair, I haven't figured out a nickname for them, and that's due to the colorway, which will be fire red, starfish, sesame, white, and black. I don't feel I should call these fire red because there's already an Air Jordan 4 in fire red. Starfish doesn't really, I guess I could call them starfish. Maybe I'll just call them fire red and starfish. Either way, this is a mock-up. I don't know how they're going to look. Probably going to have like some sort of playful theme to it. Maybe different materials. This mock-up reminds me a lot of the Toro Bravo Air Jordan 4 with the exception of orange, so I don't think they're going to look like these. But the shoes are expected to drop on August 1st. The retail price should be $150, although it's possible they could cost $160 if they use different materials and stuff like that. Almost at the start of August, we have a classic colorway of the Air Jordan 3 returning, and it's going to be the Pure Money pair. So for those that don't know, this isn't an original colorway, but they dropped back on May 12th, 2007. So they dropped the same year that the Air Jordan 3 Black Cat was released. And the retail price for these was $125. Now, Jordan Brand did release a similar pair in 2018. That pair is known as Pure White, also known as Triple White. But those were different. They featured a translucent outsole and lacked some of the details of the shoe like the Pure Money. Now, what this pair is known for, obviously aside from its simple color blocking, is that on the back of the heel, inside the heel tab, it will read Pure Money. It'll be embroidered. Now, I don't think the 2025 pair will feature that, and the reason I say that is because the Air Jordan 3 Black Cat won't have Black Cat embroidered in the same location. So although it's tucked away, it is something that Jordan Brand should have added, because a lot of people who originally bought these know this shoe for that element. But this pair will feature a white, metallic silver, and white colorway. Now the images used is the 2007 release, but they'll feature the same color blocking. Maybe a few shades might be slightly, and I mean slightly different, but they'll feature white leather up top. Elephant print will wrap the toe and heel. It'll also run across the laces, and then they'll feature silver detailing on the eyelets and Jumpman branding. Also, the midsole will be white, the outsole will be as well, but where it reads Jordan, that will be silver. So as for the release date, this pair will drop on August 2nd, and the retail price will be $200. This is another pair that is expected to be available in full family sizing. Also dropping in August is the Air Jordan 1 High OG Self-Expression. Now, what's shown is a mock-up, and I can guarantee that the shoes won't look like this. So, recently, I was told that the pair will feature an all-black upper. So, on the panels, wings, collar, toe, that will be all black. The outsole will be black as well, and the midsole will be white. Now, I may have an updated mock-up by the time this video goes live. I'm not entirely sure just yet. I'm trying to get a lot of other stuff completed for this video. But another element that I was told is, yes, they will feature a wear-away upper with 2 additional layers. So the top layer will be black. Once that's worn away, it'll be a different shade. Now, what some people have gotten wrong about this shoe is that they're not going to feature a multicolor on the upper, like a rainbow effect. They will in a way, but not like the mock-up is displayed here. So certain areas on this shoe will display a different color. So for example, around the toe, it might feature red. On the swoosh, it could feature blue. Around the heel, it could be orange, and so forth. So the blocking will be different. Now, those layers will also be able to wear away, and beneath it will be white. Now, this is what I've heard from somebody who was recently at the meeting. They saw the shoes on hand. So it's going to be somewhat different in comparison to what is expected. Yes, they'll still feature a rainbow upper, but not multiple colors on one panel and so forth. Now, the official colorway on these is black, black, summit white, and they're going to drop on August 9th. They will be available in full family sizing, and I got the price for adults, which will be $180. Now, I don't have 100% confirmation if grade school and down will feature a wear-away upper, but they should. Jordan Brand is adding denim to the Air Jordan 4 once again, and this pair is known as the Air Jordan 4 Denim Worn Blue. Now, what's shown is a mock-up. However, from what I've heard, this is an accurate mock-up of what's releasing. So, the pair will feature a cell, gum light brown, worn blue, cell, and metallic gold colorway. So the pair will feature denim across the upper in various shades of blue. The winged eyelets is also expected to have a raw finish. The Jumpman logo will be placed on the tongue and heel, and the metallic gold detailing will land on the lace jewels. Cell runs across the midsole, giving it an aged look, and then we have a little bit of gum on the rubber outsole, which should be somewhat translucent, and that will hit the toe and heel. I know a lot of people are upset that these are a women's exclusive. They feel they should drop in women's and men's sizing. I agree, these are clean. And as for the release details, they will drop on August 9th. The retail price will be $215. Another classic colorway of the Air Jordan 12 is returning, and in August, we'll have the chance to buy the French blue iteration once again. Now, initially, these were supposed to be a 2.0. The silver plating on the side was supposed to be red, and then the mudguard was going to be either suede or nubuck, but Jordan Brand decided to switch that up and just decided to bring back the OG colorway. Now, this pair was originally released in 2004. There's images going around of Kobe Bryant wearing this pair, but also Carmelo Anthony wore them in 2003 before the release against his first matchup with LeBron James. Back then it was super hyped, those two playing against each other. It was a good moment for Jordan Brand to get their upcoming release seen by a lot of people. That was a time when NBA players were wearing retros. Now, the last time we saw the shoes drop was in 2016. This pair will feature a white, French blue, metallic silver, and varsity red colorway. So they'll look like the original release. They'll feature French blue across the mudguard, most of the midsole, as well as some of the branding throughout. White leather will cover the upper, liner, land on the tongue, laces, and just that small section of the midsole. Silver fills in the top two eyelets, as well as the plates on the lateral and medial side. Red will also fill in some of the branding, as well as the carbon fiber plate on the outsole, but French blue mostly covers the rubber outsole with white on the Jumpman. So this pair is scheduled to drop on August 16th. They'll be available in full family sizing, and the retail price will be $200. This is a pair that I recently talked about, and it's the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Summit White. Now, I have no idea what these are going to look like, and I really hope they don't look anything like this mock-up here. And again, this is just a mock-up. I really hope what releases looks a lot different. But as for the colorway, they'll feature a Summit White, University Red, Neutral Gray, Stadium Green, and Coconut Milk colorway. The only thing we can expect about this shoe is, of course, the Nike Air branding on the tongue, Wings logo on the heel, and a larger swoosh. Now, since there's coconut milk, they'll have some sort of age detailing as well. But that's pretty much it for this pair. Now, as for the release date, they are currently scheduled to drop on August 23rd, and the retail price will be $140. Awake NY has two Air Jordan 5 collaborations dropping in 2025. The first one will debut in August, and then the second one will debut in September, but the first pair we're going to talk about is the Arctic Pink pair. Now again, what's shown is a mock-up. I have no idea what they're going to look like. What I've heard is they're going to be crazy looking, in a good way. So both pairs will be unique, something we haven't seen before. Now this is what I've heard. I don't know how true that is. But for this pair, they'll feature an Arctic Pink, metallic silver, university red, black, white, and clear colorway. So a couple things we can expect, of course, is Awake NY and the Jumpman branding, but they are labeled an OG, so they are expected to feature Nike Air branding in some way, shape, or form. As most of you may know, Awake NY did collaborate on the Airship in 2024, and from the way it looks right now, and their Airship collaboration looks to be the last Airship to be released for some time. Now this pair will also help celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 5, and alongside the shoes, there's going to be matching apparel for both pairs. So for the release date, these are currently scheduled to drop on August 29th, and the retail price will be $225. Starting off September, at least where it stands right now, the first pair to release is a collaboration between Travis Scott and Fragment Design on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Now, this pair is being called Military Blue due to its colorway. The official colorway is Cell, Black, Muslin, and Military Blue. Now, images initially leaked back in 2021 of the sample version. It was seen on the feet of Fragment Design's founder, Hiroshi Fujiwara. So what's actually releasing is slightly different in comparison to the sample. Now, images have already leaked of the 2025 pair, which I'll admit, I feel like it's a bit odd. Although they're a sample, it's really early for this pair to get out. But the overall look does resemble that of the sample. The only difference is on what's releasing compared to the OG sample. The heels will feature Fragment's double lightning bolt logo and Cactus Jack's smiley face. Also, the tongue is slightly different. The sample pair had black on the upper part of the tongue, and the retail pair will have white. Other than that, we have white leather on the upper, military blue fills in the swoosh, outsole, back heel tabs, and the right heel will have the Wings logo, and the left will feature Cactus Jack branding. The pair will also come with an aged midsole, and it appears that they'll come with 3 sets of laces, white, black, and pink, although that part hasn't been confirmed. Now, as for a release date, The shoes are scheduled to drop on September 3rd, and the retail price will be $150. Now, I'm sure all you guys know this. These are going to be limited. They're also very hyped, and they won't be easy to obtain. This is a very solid release in my opinion, and it's the Air Jordan 4 Cavestone. So I recently talked about this shoe, and they have a pretty big update. So instead of the Jumpman branding on the heel, they'll actually feature Nike Air. Now, traditionally, Nike Air is reserved for OG colorways or special collaborations or even special releases, for example, the Rare Air Air Jordan 4. But in this case, I have no idea why they're adding Nike Air branding to them. They're not a collaboration, but I'm not mad at it. I think it's really dope. Now, this is expected to be the color blocking on the shoes. However, things could change. I've been hearing a little bit of rumors about some of the detailing about this shoe. It could feature more white on the midsole. Also, the laces could be a different color. But one thing's for sure, they're expected to have mostly Cavestone on the upper. Now, the official colorway is Cavestone, Black, and Moon Particle. And Jordan Brand is actually calling these mochas. So don't be surprised if Jordan Brand's pushing the whole mocha name onto these shoes. They know mocha releases do very well. But as for a new colorway on the Air Jordan 4, in my opinion, this is one of the better releases in 2025. It doesn't top the white cement Air Jordan 4 in my opinion, not even close. But as for new colorways, these are very nice. Now, as for the release date, they're scheduled to drop on September 6th. And as of now, I have the retail price at $215, but don't be surprised if it gets bumped up to $225. Jordan Brand has been adding $10 more onto shoes with Nike Air branding, or if they're OGs, or even collaborations. The Air Jordan 1 High OG Baroque Brown will also drop in September. This will be a women's release, and what's shown is a mock-up, but what I'm hearing is that this is an accurate mock-up of what's releasing. So the official colorway on these is Baroque Brown, Light Matter Root, and Cell. The pair will feature cell leather on the upper. It also hits the laces, collar, wings, and the midsole. Baroque Brown, which is a shade of brown, covers the overlays, swoosh, ankle, and the rubber outsole. Now, there is a little bit of red, which will fill in the Nike Air branding on the tongue, and they're expected to have a black label. So for the release date, this pair is scheduled to drop on September 9th, again, dropping in women's sizing, and the retail price will be $180. The second Awake NY Air Jordan 5 collaboration will drop in September. This one's known as Racer Blue due to the colorway. So this pair is going to feature a black, racer blue, metallic silver, silver, white, and clear color combination. Just like the Arctic Pink pair, this one's labeled an OG, so they should have Nike Air branding. As well, you can expect Awake NY branding located somewhere. Now, what's shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're actually going to look. But again, I'm hearing that this pair will be very unique. I haven't seen them yet, but I'm hoping to eventually see them soon. But if the color blocking was like this, I definitely wouldn't be mad. I think this actually looks pretty dope. Also, alongside these shoes, there will be matching apparel available. So for the release date, they're scheduled to drop on September 19th, and the retail price will be $225. We have another classic colorway returning, but this time in low top form, and it's the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Storm Blue. Now, for those that don't know, this is an original colorway. It was used on the Air Jordan 1 High and dropped either in 1985 or 1986. The exact year hasn't been pinpointed. A lot of Air Jordan 1s dropped in 85, of course, but there was a good amount that also dropped in 86. And the last time we saw the Storm Blue release was in 2016, also a high. But for the first time, they're going to be released in low top form. And the official colorway is Summit White, Storm Blue, and Cell. So when the Air Jordan 1 High OG Storm Blue launched in 2016, eventually they became very popular. The resale price shot up on them. I don't know where they're at now, but I am happy to see them returning in low top form. Now this pair will also feature a larger swoosh, which in my opinion is a plus. They'll also feature Summit White leather on the base. Storm Blue will land on the overlays. White covers the tongue, laces, and the wings on the heel. We'll also have Storm Blue on the Nike Air branding, and they're expected to feature a somewhat of an aged midsole due to Cell. So expect the pair to look pretty much like this. And moving on to the release details, they're scheduled to drop on September 20th, and the retail price will be $140. Initially, I was just going to include this pair during the holiday 2025 segment in this video, even though I knew they would drop in December. However, they recently received a release date, which I'll go over in a moment. And I know a lot of people are happy. The Air Jordan 11 Gamma will return in 2025. Now, this isn't an OG colorway, but it is an older retro, and they first launched in 2013. Around that same time, Jordan Brand also dropped the Air Jordan 12 Gamma, which I hope we see a return of those soon as well. This is one of 3 Air Jordan 11s dropping in 2025. We also have the Air Jordan 11 Rare Air releasing and the Air Jordan 11 Cell, which I'll talk about later on in the video. Now, the 2025 release will feature a black, gamma blue, black, and varsity maze colorway. So they will resemble the original release, but they will have a higher cut patent leather upper. I'm going to use a mock-up of what the 2025 release should look like, as well as photos from the 2013 release, so you can have an idea of the differences. Now, initially, Jordan Brand was going to launch the Air Jordan 11 in black, gray, and red. Now, I did put a mock-up of those out, and it wasn't accurate, but what I can confirm to you guys is Jordan Brand has been listening, because they decided to scrap that pair and bring out the Gamma Blue Air Jordan 11 instead. Now, the pair will feature black mesh and leather on the upper, and black will also fill in the patent leather mudguard, midsole, and other areas throughout. They'll also feature Gamma Blue on the Jumpman, and the pods on the outsole. Most of the outsole is translucent. It's just the pods that will feature Gamma Blue. And then yellow will fill in the 2-3 on the heel and the tongue branding. So for these, what you can expect, they're going to be a huge GR, tons, and I mean tons of pairs available. They'll also drop in full family sizing. I don't have the retail price breakdown for grade school and down just yet, but the retail price in men's will be $230. So with the spring releases, that means that these shoes will drop between January and March of 2025. Now, in this section, I got a lot of shoes that may not be loved by everybody, but I did want to show some appreciation to them just because maybe some of you may want to pick them up. But the first pair I'm going to talk about is the Air Jordan 1 Low Cool Gray. Now, as most of you know, the Air Jordan 9 Cool Gray is returning in 2025. I went over that earlier in the video, but Jordan Brand is going to release a Air Jordan 1 Low, which features a similar theme, and they're inspired by the shoes. So for this pair, they'll feature a medium gray, white, and cool gray colorway. As you can see, the shades of gray run throughout the upper. They also feature patent leather materials to mimic that of the 9s. As well, we have gray nubuck on the base, another tribute to the 9s. And then we have white on the laces, midsole, and a semi-translucent smoky rubber outsole. So for this pair, they're going to drop spring 2025, and the retail price will be $125. I know the Air Jordan 1 Mid gets made fun of a lot, but there's actually some pretty dope colorways of this shoe. Now, just like the Air Jordan 1 Low Cool Gray, we have the Air Jordan 1 Mid Black Metallic Reimagine, which is inspired by the Air Jordan 5 Black Metallic Reimagine that will be released in February. Again, I did go over those earlier in the video. But for this pair, they feature a black, white, wolf gray, fire red, and metallic silver colorway. Now, the color blocking matches up to the Air Jordan 5. They even have the white laces like the upcoming Air Jordan 5, but taking it a step further, they feature 3M reflective detailing on the ankle overlay, around the heel, and the swoosh. They also feature red on the tongue branding and across the insoles, and then we have a translucent rubber outsole to complete the look. Now, again, spring 2025 is when they're expected to drop, although I'm hearing February. More than likely, with a lot of these shoes, they won't have specific release dates. Whenever retailers get them in, they usually just throw them on the shelves, and the retail price will be $135. Jordan Brand definitely knows what they're doing here, But coming in spring, we have the Air Jordan 4 RM Pine Green. Now, for those who don't remember, the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Pine Green dropped in 2023. That was a hyped shoe. It still is hyped. Resale is pretty high. But they're offering the Air Jordan 4 RM in pretty much the same color blocking as the Nike SB. So maybe you're a huge fan of the colorway, but you don't want to spend that type of money on them, and you like the Air Jordan 4 RM, then this could be an option for you. Now, I have heard that a few overseas sites have released them already in 2024. However, more will have them in 2025. The official colorway on these is white, pine green, neutral gray, wolf gray, varsity red, and gum dark brown. So spring 2025 is when they're expected to drop, and the retail price will be $150. I just talked about the Air Jordan 1 Mid Black Metallic Reimagined, and Jordan Brand is going to drop the Air Jordan 4 RM in a very similar colorway as the Air Jordan 5. This pair is being called Reflective, although it could be called Black Metallic Reimagined as well. Now, we don't have the official colorway on these, but as you can see, the color blocking matches up to the 5s. We even have the white laces, mostly black on the upper, and red detailing. Now, one of the highlights of this shoe is the reflective detailing, which wraps the toe and lands on parts of the tongue. Lastly, areas on the outsole will be translucent. Now, the images used is in grade school sizing. However, I'm pretty confident that these are also going to drop in adult sizing. So if they do drop in adult sizing, the retail price will be $150, but grade school sizes will cost $120. Yes, I haven't forgot about the golfers out there, because I'm sure some of you watching this video do play golf. We do have a couple golf Air Jordans dropping, and the first one I'm going to talk about is the Air Jordan 9 Low Golf, known as Linen. Now, this pair features a white, light armory blue and linen colorway. The pair features white leather on the upper with tan nubuck on the overlays, and they also have accents of light armory blue on the branding and lace loops. Other details includes a translucent outsole with spikes. Again, this pair is expected to drop spring 2025, and the retail price will be $230. Okay, so getting back to the Air Jordan 4 RM releases, we got an upcoming pair known as Bruce Lee. Now, when I talked about these in the news video, a lot of people seem to appreciate them. They like the color blocking, but for this pair, they feature a black, comet red, and Del Sol colorway. Now, there won't be any affiliation with Bruce Lee or his estate, but the color blocking resembles that of his yellow jumpsuit from Game of Death. Now, the pair is constructed with leather, suede, and ballistic nylon. Black covers most of the base, wraps the toe box, tongue, and laces, and then highlighting the shoes is yellow on the cage overlay, Jumpman branding, and most of the rubber outsole. Lastly, we have red on the Jumpman branding on the top of the tongue, Nike Air branding on the heels, and within the Air unit. So again, these are going to drop spring 2025, and the retail price will be $150. K54 will have another collaboration with Jordan Brand in 2025, and it'll be on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Now, in 2025, there's quite a few Air Jordan 1 Low OG releases that are collaborations. So what is shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look. And for those that don't know, K54 is a yearly street ball tournament that takes place in Paris. Now, they've had multiple collaborations in the past, but this one will feature a black, tour yellow, and chili red colorway. Again, this is only a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the shoes are expected to drop spring 2025, which means a release will take place between January and March. Also, the retail price will be $160. So for the second Golf Air Jordan dropping in 2025 that is confirmed so far, we have the Air Jordan 14 Golf Oxidized Green. Now, just a heads up, this is a mock-up. We're not sure how they're going to look, but the color blocking does match up to the OG Air Jordan 14 Oxidized Green. So they'll feature a white oxidized green, black, and glacier blue colorway. Now, I don't golf, but I will be picking these up since the Air Jordan 14 is my favorite model, and I try to go after every pair that releases. Now, if the color blocking does look like this, that's great in my opinion. It matches the 1999 release, which also dropped in 2016. Both of those were not golf shoes, of course. But as for the release date, expected to drop spring 2025, and unfortunately no retail price, but more than likely they'll cost at minimum $230, maybe more because the Air Jordan 9 Low costs $230. So we'll have to wait and see. Like always, there will be more updates in upcoming sneaker news videos. In my opinion, this shoe does have a lot of potential, but unfortunately it's just a mock-up, and when I initially leaked this information, which was months, and I mean months ago, there hasn't been an update. So there's a possibility that these could get scrapped. But for now, the Air Jordan 6 in white and fire red is expected to drop in spring 2025. So again, the image used is a mock-up. Not sure how they're going to look, but the official colorway on these is Summit White, Fire Red, and Black. Now, if they do release and they look like this, I would be happy. I think these are pretty dope. But what I'm hearing for upcoming releases for next year, and I don't mean 2025, but I mean 2026, it kind of makes sense that these would get scrapped. But yeah, more on that soon. Now, if they do drop, spring 2025 is when they're expected to be released, and the retail price will be $200. During the spring, we have a grade school exclusive of the Air Jordan 3 dropping, and this pair I'm going to call Vapor Green due to the colorway, which is white, vapor green, vivid purple, cell, and guava ice. Now, the mock-up kind of gives them Joker vibes. However, this is just a mock-up. I have no idea what they're going to look like, and I was going to just put a silhouette up of the shoe, but I decided to do something a little bit different, add what they potentially could look like. So at least you guys are looking at something rather than just an outline. But for these, spring 2025 is when they're expected to be released, and the retail price will be $150 unless they feature some sort of exotic or premium materials or even a theme. Then the price could jump up to $160. Another Air Jordan 1 Low OG collaboration set to drop in spring is the Rui Hachimura Air Jordan 1 Low OG Cranes, also known as Oatmeal due to the colorway. Now, for these, the official colorway is Oatmeal, Jade Smoke, and Black. Initially, I thought it was going to feature Gray Fog, but it turns out it'll just be Jade Smoke. Now, some of you might remember that in 2022, Rui received the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Cranes PE, which came with mostly black on the upper. This pair features a very similar theme. Of course, the color blocking is different, but as you can see, they feature cherry blossoms throughout, as well as cranes. Rui Hachimura is half Japanese, so this connects to his roots. Also, just behind the swoosh, we have metallic gold, which shines. It looks nice. And for the actual swoosh, it'll be black suede. That also covers the heel. Speaking of the heel, we'll have some jade detailing, which fills in the wings and covers the insoles. And speaking of the insoles, we have Rui Hachimura's branding. Other details include Nike Air branding on the tongues and a gum rubber outsole. These are nice. It seems that a lot of people like them when I talked about them in the recent news video that I dropped, but for this pair, they're going to be released in spring 2025, which means a release will take place between January and March, and the retail price will be $160. Moving on to summer, and the summer releases look a lot better than spring, but unfortunately they don't have specific release dates. Now with the summer releases, this means that a release will take place between April and June, and the first pair I'm going to talk about is the Travis Scott Jordan Jumpman Jack TR in Bright Cactus. Now initially these were supposed to drop during the holiday 2024 season, but they were delayed. And now they're going to drop summer 2025. So for this pair, they feature a muslin, black, and bright cactus colorway. Now there's going to be more Jordan Jumpman Jacks dropping throughout 2025. There's a handful in this video, but I'll make sure to cover them in upcoming news videos. But for this pair, it features muslin leather on the upper while bright cactus covers the canvas base. Black fills in the backward swoosh logos and part of the midsole, ankle, top of the tongue, and liner. They also come with the signature Cactus Jack branding on the heels, and then a cream outsole with Jack in black completes the look. So for this pair, they're going to drop summer 2025. The retail price in men's is $200, preschool will cost $90, and toddler sizes will cost $75. For this pair, this is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look. However, it does come in a familiar color scheme. So they're being called the Air Jordan 1 High OG Varsity Red. And that, of course, is due to the colorway, which is Varsity Red, black, and white. Now, that kind of has Chicago vibes to it on the surface, but these aren't expected to be a Chicago release. Also, these will drop in women's sizing. I've heard nothing so far about them being satin or some sort of different materials used. Specific details on the blocking is just not known at this point, but they're expected to drop summer 2025, and the retail price will be $180. I know the hype has kind of died down when it comes to the Air Jordan 1 High OG, but Jordan Brand has a lot of great releases coming in 2025, and one of those will be a collaboration with Union LA. So this is known as Chicago Shadow due to the colorway and the blocking. The lower part of the shoe is taken from the Air Jordan 1 High Chicago, while the upper, more so the ankle and part of the tongue, is from the Shadow. The official colorway on these is Varsity Red, Black, Cell, Shadow Gray, and Muslin. And the overall look is taken from Union LA's first collaboration on the Air Jordan 1 High OG that took place in 2018. We had the Storm Blue pair and the Black Toe. So as a follow-up, we have this one coming. And in my opinion, I like these a lot more than the previous two. Again, that's just my opinion. You can let me know yours down below. They'll also come with a DIY-like stitching on the ankle. A small label with Union LA branding will land on the lateral side. And the insoles also are unique. They feature OG Air Jordan branding as well as Union's branding. And it has a graphic showing how the shoes are assembled. It's pretty dope. So initially these were supposed to drop in February, I believe February 12th, but they got delayed and pushed to summer, which means a release will take place between April and June. Also, the retail price on these will be $200. The second Air Jordan 1 High 85 set to drop in 2025 is the Reverse Shadow pair. Now, this is a classic pair. Shown as a mock-up, but they will look like this. And the official colorway is medium gray, black, and muslin. So this is an original release. However, the pair did not release to the public. I will include an image in this video showing the original sample. Jordan Brand also dropped the Shadow 2.0 Air Jordan 1 High OG in 2021. It was close to this pair, although the shade of gray was a bit lighter. They used some different materials as well. But with this pair, you can expect the upgraded shape as well as the comfort. Now, the Air Jordan 1 High 85 Bread will retail at $250. Don't worry, these aren't going to retail for that high. I'll get to that in a moment. But the pair will feature gray leather on the upper. It also fills in the swoosh and Nike Air on the tongues. Black covers most of the tongue, laces, the wings, panels, toe box, and the rubber outsole. Lastly, they will come with an aged midsole. So again, summer 2025 is when these will be released, and the retail price will be $200. Another shoe that has been moved around a little bit, and these will have some hype to them, and it's the Nike SB Air Jordan 4, known as Navy. Now, the image used is a mock-up. However, they are very close to what will be released. The only difference I was told is on the mock-up shown in comparison to what will be released. The blue underneath the mesh netting will actually be white. So Nike SB and Jordan Brand have collaborated multiple times in the past. The first time was in 2014. It was on various pairs of the Air Jordan 1. However, in 2023, they moved on from the Air Jordan 1 and collaborated on the Air Jordan 4. So the first pair we saw was the pine green pair. That's a very dope shoe. And as a follow-up in 2025, we're getting the navy pair. So these will have the same color blocking as the pine green. The only difference would be that blue is used. Now, the official colorway on these is Summit White, White, Navy, Neutral Gray, Gum Yellow, and Varsity Red. The expected release timeframe is summer 2025. They were initially supposed to drop in February, I believe. In February was stacked, and then all of a sudden they started moving a bunch of stuff out. It's a lot thinner than it was, but there's still a lot of great drops in February, which you can see earlier on in the video. And the retail price will be $225. Now, these will be available at skate shops and select boutiques. They're not going to be a GR. They're not going to be available just anywhere. And then you're going to have some hype for them, so they will be on the difficult side to obtain. The other Nike SB Air Jordan 4 expected to drop in 2025 is the Varsity Red pair. Now, there is a chance that these will be scrapped. I'm hearing some rumors, although it's not 100% confirmed yet, but I did want to let you guys know. Just like the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Navy, this pair will feature a very similar colorway. Actually, it's the identical colorway, it's just instead of blue, we'll have red. So the initial drop was the Pine Green pair in 2023, and now Nike SB and Jordan Brand will follow up with 2 additional pairs, well, expected to be 2 additional pairs in 2025. Now, the official colorway on these is Summit White, Varsity Red, and Neutral Gray. They were initially expected to drop in February, just like the Navy pair. However, what I was told is they've been moved to summer. But then again, I did hear that there's a possibility they could get scrapped. So either way, just want to give you the heads up. For now, let's expect this pair to drop in the summertime, which means a release will take place between April and June, and the retail price will be $225. Now, more than likely, the availability will be the same on this pair as the Navy. They'll be available at skate shops and select Jordan Brand boutiques. As well, both pairs should drop on the Sneakers app. For fall, we have a lot of great releases as well, which means that these shoes will drop between July and September. Now, the first pair that is expected to drop in fall is the Air Jordan 4 Rare Air. Now, these could get moved around even more because they were supposed to drop in February, which means they were supposed to drop in spring. Then they got moved to summer. Then they were pulled from summer, and recently they were being shown off for the fall season. But this pair features a black, fire red, deep royal blue, dark smoke gray, and tech gray colorway. Now, the highlight of this pair would be that they feature removable tongue patches. Now, they're supposed to come with additional tongue patches, but in these images, we only have the classic Jordan Flight logo. And underneath the tongue patches, it'll read Jordan Rare Air. Now, what I initially heard is that 25% of the stock, where it reads Jordan Rare Air, will be done in gold. Now, I don't know if they're going to change that. It's possible that the reason why they're getting delayed so much is because they're trying to get that part right. Or they may just decide to scrap it, but that was the initial plans. Now, the shoes will also come with the classic Jordan face logo box, which was used in the early 2000s. This time around, it'll come blacked out in comparison to the silver that was used initially. It was silver and black. They also come with the second set of laces, which is done in blue. And as for the build itself, they feature black nubuck throughout, as well as gray accents. Nike Air branding will be placed on the heels. In addition, we have a mixture of blue and red accents throughout, a little bit of gray on the rubber outsole mixed in with the other colors I mentioned, and then part of the midsole will be aged. This pair will also come with a hang tag in blue, which reads Nike. And like I mentioned, they are expected to drop fall 2025, which means a release will take place between July and September. Also, the retail price did go up on these. Initially, they were supposed to be $215. Now they're going to cost $225. Now, I know this is a bit of a longer video, so I'm not sure if the Sevens guy will make an appearance in the comment section. Maybe he will. Shout out to him. He's been wanting the Air Jordan 7 to return for a long time now. He's on like this big streak of leaving comments, counting down the days since we've heard an announcement that the Air Jordan 7 would return. And Jordan Brand is going to bring back the Air Jordan 7, but not in the way we all want it to. And it'll actually be the Air Jordan 7 RM. So following up on the Air Jordan 4 RM, we have the Air Jordan 7 RM dropping. And the image used is a mock-up, however, they will look like this. I was able to see the shoes, and this is one of the colorways that will be released. I do have a list of others, which I'm going to go over in this video. But basically, it's like a low-top Air Jordan 7 with some added mesh. They also feature flight on the tongue, something I'm not a huge fan of because it reminds me of the True Flight a lot. But other than that, the overall look I am a fan of. Believe it or not, maybe it's just due to the fact that I want an Air Jordan 7 to return, an OG colorway. And I feel like it's been long overdue. Now, for the first pair, it somewhat resembles the playoff Air Jordan 7, aka Charcoal. That could be another reason why I kind of like them. And the official colorway on these is black, gem red, and anthracite. Now we have 4 additional colorways that will be released, so we have a total of 5. And the second comes dressed in anthracite, cool gray, wolf gray, and neutral gray. The third will feature desert camo, fire red, mushroom, and anthracite. The fourth will feature oil gray, Viotech, cave stone, and dark sulfur. And then the last one will feature black, wolf gray, and anthracite. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a retail price for any of these as of yet, but they all will drop during the fall season, and I'm sure we're going to have more during the holiday season. It's just, this is all we have for now. Although the Air Jordan 5 is celebrating its 35th anniversary in 2025, Jordan Brand will have a lot of Air Jordan 3 releases. Typically, that's what they do, and one of the pairs that will debut in fall 2025 is known as the Air Jordan 3 Dusted Clay. Now, the image used is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the pair will feature a dusted clay, shimmer, muslin, and Martian sunrise color combination. So the pair could look like this or something totally different. One thing is for sure, they'll feature the Jumpman branding. The muslin accents will give it somewhat of an aged look in certain areas, probably on the midsole, it could be on the eyelets. But this pair will drop fall 2025 and the retail price will be $200. Trophy Room will release another collaboration, this time in 2025, and it'll be on the Air Jordan 6. So I'm just using a silhouette with their logo because I have no idea what they're going to look like. And typically they do unique releases, they tell a story, so there's really no way to really put something together that would look half decent. But as for some of the details, this pair will feature a white, crimson, black, and court purple color combination. Now, since Trophy Room likes to tell stories, I do believe that this pair will be a tribute to Michael Jordan's first championship. His first championship, he wore the Air Jordan 6. The white and crimson part could be a nod to the Chicago Bulls, and then the black and court purple could be for the Lakers because the Bulls beat the Lakers to win the championship in 1991. Now, there is a rumor about a second colorway dropping, although I don't have confirmation on that. And for this pair, they were supposed to drop in June, but they were delayed, so now they'll release sometime during the fall season, and unfortunately, no retail price as of yet. Now, this pair has a lot of potential. When I first talked about it in the news videos, a lot of people were excited, although, just a heads up, this is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but during fall 2025, we had the release of the Air Jordan 3 El Grito. Now, this pair will feature a black, metallic silver, and black colorway. This pair is a follow-up to the El Grito Air Jordan 5, which dropped in 2024, and both pairs celebrate Latin Heritage Month. So with that being said, there's a strong possibility that these drop in September. Also, as a heads up, the official listing of these shoes is Air Jordan 3 OG Mex. So the OG part signifies that they will feature Nike Air branding, and the Mex, I do believe, stands for Mexico. But yeah, I do hope they drop and they look similar to this. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of intricate details connecting to Mexican culture and things like that. At this point, it's just not known. But fall 2025 is when they're expected to drop, and currently we don't have a retail price. Fall 2025 will bring us a handful of OG releases, and the first pair I'm going to talk about is the Air Jordan 5 Grape. Now, if you missed any of my news videos, this pair was supposed to drop during the summer of 2025, specifically on April 19th. However, for unknown reasons, the pair was delayed and now is part of Jordan Brand's fall 2025 lineup. So for the 2025 pair, they'll feature a white, new emerald, grape ice, and black colorway just like the OG. For those that don't know, this is an original release which was launched back in 1990. We saw the first retro take place in 2006, and that pair was part of Jordan Brand's lifestyle series. So back then, what they did is they dropped a shoe and they had matching apparel. Now, if it was a lifestyle release, they weren't available everywhere. It was somewhat on the limited side. Only select retailers got them in boutiques. Moving on, we saw another release in 2013, and then the last drop was in 2018. However, that pair was different. They were known as Fresh Prince, and it celebrated Will Smith's 50th birthday. Now, as most of you know, Will wore this pair in the show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He would wear them without laces. So the 2018 release lacked eyelets. So when people bought them, a lot of people punched holes into them so they could be laced up. Now, the images used are not the 2025 release. However, they are expected to feature an updated shape. I haven't heard anything about the toe box yet. I know people are complaining that the toe box on the 5s are a bit bulky, but what I do know is that the ankle collar will be slimmed down closer to the OG. They'll also feature Nike Air branding and come with special packaging. So for now, they're expected to drop fall 2025. The retail price will be $210, and they will be available in full family sizing. It's just that I don't have the retail price breakdown as of now. Another shoe that was recently delayed is the Air Jordan 8 Aqua. Yes, they will be returning in 2025. I know a lot of people are happy about that. And recently we did receive a first look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a mixture of the first look as well as photos of the OG. I'll start off with the first look first, and then you'll be able to tell which one is the OG. Now, again, this is an original colorway, which was launched back in 1993. They're also known as All-Star because MJ wore them during the 1993 NBA All-Star game. He would wind up dropping 30 points, but the East lost to the West in overtime 135 to 132. We would see another retro of the pair in 2007, and then the last time they dropped was in 2015. Now, the 2015 pair had a lot of glitter on the shoes, and from what I can tell, in comparison to the first look of the 2025 pair, it will lack that. Now, some of the things that the 2025 pair does lack as well is the white lining on the trimming. As well, the gray used around the heel is a bit lighter, although that could be due to the photos, maybe the lighting or something along those lines. But overall, I'm definitely happy with the overall look, and it's great to see all these OGs returning. I'm sure a lot of us are happy. Now, the official colorway on these is black, true red, iron gray, bright concord, and aquatone, and they're going to drop fall 2025. The retail price is $210. They're also expected to be available in full family sizing. In 2025, we have at least 2 additional Air Jordan 17 lows dropping, but they'll be in collaboration with Infinite Archives. So just a heads up, the images used are a mock-up, but from what I was told, they look somewhat close to what will be released. Now, the first colorway comes dressed in beach, metallic copper, and black, and the second will feature beach, metallic silver, and black. So both pairs will be very similar. The only real difference will be either metallic silver or copper. And for those that don't know, Infinite Archives was established in 2015. According to their website, they were established to capture the passage of time by highlighting significant moments in art, music, sports, politics, and pop culture. Infinite Archives also has a clothing line, and they've done collaborations in the past with brands like Cause, Fragment, and Tops. Both these pairs have a lot of potential for me. I'm definitely excited to see a first look. But for now, they are expected to drop fall 2025 and currently no retail price. Nigel Sylvester will have a couple collaborations in 2025. Earlier in the video, I talked about his upcoming Air Jordan 4 Bike Air, but he'll also drop the Air Jordan 1 Low OG known as Nitro. So what is shown is a mock-up. However, I received confirmation from my sources that you can expect this color blocking to be released. Now, the official colorway on these is black, muslin, and varsity red. So essentially what we have here is a low top version of the 2022 sample pair that was gifted to Nigel. That pair featured mostly black, and the overall theme matches his first collaboration on the Air Jordan 1 High OG, which dropped back in 2018. So the pair will feature black leather on the upper. They'll also feature scuffed areas on the shoes. The mini swoosh will be by the toe. We have a regular size swoosh on the panels done in white. Same situation with the tongue and laces. Now the midsole is expected to be aged. And then we have red on the tongue branding and the rubber outsole. Now the rubber outsole will have like an aged look as well, just like his first collaboration. Now what I wasn't told is about the insoles or the medial side, so that could display something different. If anything, I think the insoles might feature special branding, but again, that isn't confirmed. And for this pair, they're going to drop fall 2025, which means a release will take place between July and September, and currently no retail price, but more than likely, they're going to cost $160 or around that. Now we're at the holiday 2025 season. Now some people ask, which holiday are these shoes being released? So whenever I say a shoe's dropping during the holiday season, that means that they'll release between October and December. It's not for a specific holiday, but it's for Jordan Brand's holiday season. So these releases will be in that time frame. But I'm going to start off with two pairs that could be moved around or not even happen. Now, the first pair looks to happen, and that is the collaboration between Fragment and Union on the Air Jordan 1 High OG. Now, just a heads up, the image used is a mock-up. However, they are expected to look close to this, very close, from what I hear. Maybe some very minor things could change. And basically, we have elements from Union LA's collaboration and Fragment design. So the pair is expected to feature the Union LA label, Fragment's double lightning bolt logo. A mixture of blue and red will be used throughout. We'll have white on the base, black on the overlays, and somewhat of an aged midsole. It'll also come in the DIY look with the stitches on the ankle, and a lot of people are excited for this shoe. However, from what I've heard is if they do release, it'll be in late 2025, which would put it during the holiday season. Also, what I've heard is they could drop in 2026, so it could be out of 2025 and just release the following year. But Jordan Brand can do as it fits, so they could even move it to a different season in 2025. But what I'm saying is that this pair does look likely to be released. It just isn't really known a time frame, but initially I heard late 2025. Other than that, we don't have any additional information, no retail price, specific colorway, or a style code. Another rumor that has been going around is that Off-White and Jordan Brand will release the Air Jordan 1 High OG in the Euro colorway. The pair is also known as Simply White, and they initially dropped in 2018. This pair originally released exclusively in Europe and is one of 3 colorways in collaboration with Off-White on the Air Jordan 1 High OG. Now, as for details that I've heard, months and months ago, the initial rumors that I heard is that the Euro pair would be returning, although it wasn't 100% confirmed. Now, although there's a style code going around and a color, what I've heard is this isn't 100% locked in still. Now, I'm not sure the reasoning behind that, but I wouldn't get my hopes up about these releasing just yet. Now, on a side note, I am waiting for a list of collaborations and special project releases from Jordan Brand for the holiday season. So again, that could be on that list. From what I've heard from other insiders and people from the brand, it still isn't 100% locked in. So I just wanted to be clear on that. But if they do drop, they are expected to debut during the holiday 2025 season, and the retail price isn't known. I've heard 200, I've heard 250 if they do drop, but I should have that information soon. So make sure to subscribe for upcoming sneaker news videos, and I'll make sure to keep you in the loop there. Soulfly will collaborate with Jordan Brand once again, this time during the holiday 2025 season, and it'll be on the Air Jordan 3. Now, I did state this in my news video. I heard about this information a couple weeks back, but like always, I like to wait until talking about a shoe until I have a style code, a colorway, and so forth. So I wanted to wait on that, but the information did get out. But what I will say is, yes, these are on track to be released. Now, this isn't the first time that Soulfly worked on the Air Jordan 3. They did create a friends and family pair, which is inspired by the Florida lottery ticket colors. So I have no idea what these are going to look like. I don't think anybody does at this point except for the people at Soulfly and Jordan Brand. And we don't know the inspiration, but all we do know is that they're going to be released sometime during the holiday 2025 season, and currently no retail price. Moving on to some confirmed releases, well, at least how it stands for now, we have the Air Jordan 1 High OG Pro Green dropping during the holiday season. Now, as a heads up, the image used is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, and this will be a women's exclusive. Now, the pair will feature a Pale Ivory Pro Green in coconut milk colorway. So due to coconut being used, you can expect some age detailing. I'm not sure how exactly it's going to be placed, more than likely on the midsole. And these will drop holiday 2025. The retail price will be $180. We have another women's exclusive. This is the Air Jordan 4 Hemp. again, this is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're actually going to look, but the shoes will feature a hemp and light or wood brown colorway. So more than likely the pair will feature tan shades throughout. I don't think they'll feature hemp material, although I could be wrong on that. I think hemp will just be the shade used. And these will drop holiday 2025. Currently, we don't have a retail price. They should be $215, although if they come with some special materials, the price could jump up a bit. The Air Jordan 3 will release in a new colorway during the holiday season. This pair is known as Desert Sand. So the official colorway is Desert Sand, Light Armory Blue, Light Orwood Brown, Vast Gray, Soft Pearl, and Summit White. This is a mock-up, and they're going to have a ton of different shades. I'm not sure how they're going to look. I think this pair does look nice. So maybe they'll release something like this, but more than likely it will be different. This pair will also release in men's sizing, potentially in full family sizing. And again, they're dropping holiday 2025. The retail price should be $200, although that could change. 2025 will bring us a lot of solid releases of the Air Jordan 5, which makes sense since the model will be celebrating its 35th anniversary. Paris Saint-Germain, also known as PSG, will drop another Air Jordan 5 collaboration in 2025. Now, PSG did release a collaboration on the Air Jordan 5, which took place in 2018. We also saw a low-top pair drop in 2022, but PSG has also collaborated on the Jordan 1, Jordan 4, Jordan 6, Jordan 7, and multiple lifestyle silhouettes. Now, the image used, once again, is a mock-up. However, this pair will feature an off noir, particle rose, anthracite, pearl pink, and cell colorway. Now, they're expected to drop during the holiday season. The retail price is probably going to be $220 or $225, although I don't have 100% confirmation on that just yet. Earlier in the video, I talked about the Swarovski Air Jordan 1 Low OG collaboration dropping, but the brand will also drop an Air Jordan 1 High OG collaboration during the holiday season. Now, not a ton of details are known on this pair just yet, but the shoes will feature a Vast Gray, and Photon Dust colorway. So just like the Low, this pair will come dressed in shades of gray. They are expected to feature the crystals. It's just not known exactly how they'll be used, if it'll run across the swoosh, maybe placed within the wings, I kind of doubt that, or even land on the overlays. Either way, one thing is for sure, the retail price on these will be high. The low top will retail at $1,000, so you already know the high is going to cost more than that. Unfortunately, I don't have the retail price as of yet, and this pair will drop during the holiday season. This is a pair that has a lot of potential in my opinion. It's the Air Jordan 5 Medium Soft Pink. Now, as a heads up, this will be a men's release. When I initially reported it, a lot of people thought it was going to be in women's sizing, but these are dropping for men. Now, the image used is a mock-up. This is not confirmed color blocking, but the pair will feature a white, medium soft pink, and black colorway. Now, I wouldn't be mad if they dropped like this. I think this looks very clean, but let me know your thoughts down below. Now, as for the release info, they're going to drop holiday 2025, and the retail price on these should be $200. This is one of 3 Air Jordan 11 releases in 2025. This will drop in women's sizing, and they're known as Cell. Now, this is a mock-up, so what releases may look different. However, the pair will feature a Cell, pearl gray, white, and metallic silver colorway. Now, the pair will feature a higher cut patent leather. They'll also come with special packaging and feature a translucent outsole. Now, these are going to drop holiday 2025, but there's a possibility it'll be in November because a lot of the women's Air Jordan 11s do drop in November, and the retail price will be $230. These should also drop in preschool and toddler sizing as well. Also, no details if these will be available in extended women's sizing just yet. Earlier in the video, I talked about the return of the Air Jordan 11 Gamma. And in total, Jordan Brand is going to release 3 colorways of the Air Jordan 11. So the third pair will be the Rare Air iteration. Now, shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look. However, this pair will feature a deep royal blue, fire red, cell, black, and muslin colorway. So the overall color blocking falls in line with the other Rare Air releases. And this pair is expected to feature something unique. For example, the Air Jordan 4 features removable tongue patches. The Air Jordan 3, on one of the heels, the Nike Air branding will be backwards. Both the Air Jordan 1 High OG Rare Air in Deep Royal Blue and Cinnabar feature unique branding on the ankle, and the Deep Royal Blue pair will actually feature a wear-away swoosh. So these are expected to also feature something unique. It's just at this time, it isn't known what it'll be. I'm sure I'll have that information soon. And for this pair, they're also going to drop Holiday 2025. I suspect it'll be in December, probably before the Gamma, and the retail price will be $230. Holiday 2025 will have a good amount of OG releases and older colorways return. And the first pair I'm going to talk about is the Air Jordan 10 Shadow. So the colorway on these will be charred gray, true red, and black. Now the images used is not the 2025 release. Now, one of the things people are talking about is the toe cap, because this pair is expected to feature the toe cap that's also used on the still Air Jordan 10. Now, you guys might remember I went over the history of the still Air Jordan 10, and that does make sense because there was a release of that shoe, although it was recalled. Now, for the Shadow 10s, this pair did not release with the toe cap at all. There was some samples made, but it never got out to the public. So it's a bit odd that they're incorporating that, although that could change. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. But this pair originally released in 1994, and they also somewhat returned in 2008. They were a bit different. It was part of the Countdown Pack series, and they released alongside the Air Jordan 13. What Jordan Brand was doing back then is they released two shoes that equaled the number 23 to celebrate the launch of the Air Jordan 23. Now that release was different from the OG. It featured the number 23 stitched on the ankle and a lighter checkered-like pattern on the liner. Now the last time we saw the shoes drop was in 2018. So it seems that a lot of people are excited about this release, and even with the toe cap, I would say still get excited about the release. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Now these were supposed to drop in fall, but they got pushed to Holiday 2025, and the retail price will be $210. I know a lot of people are excited for this, and it's the return of the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Chicago. So recently I did get information that the shoes will return during the holiday season. Now this pair will feature a varsity red, black, and summit white colorway. Now the Chicago colorway is a classic. However, although it's an OG colorway, it was never used on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG back in 1985 and 1986. This was used on the high top, and the first time that we would see a low top version of the shoes debut was in 2016. That was on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Now for the Chicago High, they've released multiple times. So 85 was the OG. We would also see a retro take place in 1995. A lot of people say 94, but from everything that I've seen, they actually released in 95. I do believe East Bay had them in their catalog for December 1994, but from what I was told from sources, they actually printed that early and you weren't able to buy until 1995. And then the last time we saw like a variation of the Chicago was the Lost and Found pair, which is part of Jordan Brand's Reimagined series and was released in 2022. So for this pair, what you can expect is a leather build. It'll come in the classic Chicago colorway. As well, the swoosh will be larger. As I mentioned early on, Jordan Brand is adding a larger swoosh. The images here is the 2016 pair, and what I've heard is the swoosh is a little bit larger than this. Also, what I heard is that they won't feature aged detailing, so that's a plus. I know a lot of people are getting tired of the aged look. But these will drop Holiday 2025, which means the release will take place between October and December, and the retail price will be $140. Jordan Brand is also showing a lot of love to the Air Jordan 8 in 2025. We had the return of the Aqua pair, but also during the holiday season, the Bugs Bunny pair will return. So this is an original colorway, which was released back in 1993. Now, they received the Bugs nickname due to Bugs Bunny from Looney Tunes wearing the kicks in commercials. Marvin the Martian was also seen wearing this pair as well. Now, the first time they retroed was in 2003, and then the last time they dropped was in 2013. So 12 years after its last release, we're going to have the chance to purchase again, and the shoes will feature a white, black, and true red colorway. Now, the images shown is not the 2025 release. They're expected to feature an updated shape closer to the OG, like what you've seen on the Air Jordan 8 playoffs. And a lot of people have been asking for this pair to return, and Jordan Brand heard it and decided that they're going to bring them back during the holiday season. So, no specific release date at this time, and the retail price will be $210. People love the Black Cat series, and Jordan Brand took notice. And once again, the Air Jordan 4 Black Cat will return to retailers, but this time during the holiday 2025 season. Now let's run down a little bit of history about this shoe. They first dropped in 2006, and when they released, they came with a poster of Michael Jordan hitting what's known as the shot over Craig Elo, and that shot took place in 1989, so it was a tribute to the Air Jordan 4. And then it wasn't until 2020 we would see the shoes return. Now, I got this part wrong in my initial video, but when they initially dropped in 2020, they were sitting. Nobody cared about them. It wasn't until TikTok and Instagram Reels it became a trend, so they would sell out after that. And then the resale prices shot up. At one point, they were going over $1,000, which, in my opinion, is crazy to me. But for the 2025 release, what you can expect is an updated shape. So the shape will resemble that of the OG, which, in my opinion, is a big plus. Now, I don't think it'll have Black Cat embroidered on the inside of the heel tab. Just because we didn't see it on the Air Jordan 3 Black Cat, more than likely it won't be on the Air Jordan 3 Pure Money. So I don't expect it to be on this pair, but again, I could be wrong on that. Now, the official colorway is black, and light graphite. And since they're going to be released during the holiday 2025 season, that means they're going to drop between October and December. Also, the retail price is expected to be $215. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they bumped them up on these, I'll be honest, but let's hope they keep them at $215. And these should be available in full family sizing. When it comes to sneakers that need to return, at least by what the public is saying, the Air Jordan 12 Taxi has to be top 3. A lot of people want them to return, and that's finally going to happen in 2025. I'm very happy about this release. Now, they originally dropped in 1996. They are an OG colorway. We would eventually see the pair retro in 2008, which was part of the Countdown Pack series. These were packaged alongside the Air Jordan 11, which was probably the best Countdown Pack released. And then the last time we saw the shoes drop was in 2013. In 2004, we saw a low-top version of the shoes debut, but with a white liner. And in 2011, the shoes were released again, but this time with black on the liner. And then the last time we saw a variation of the Taxi Air Jordan 12 was in golf form in 2022. So this pair will feature a white, black, and Taxi colorway, resembling the OG. It'll have white leather on the upper, black on the mudguard, Jumpman branding and heels, and then we'll have accents of Taxi, which is a shade of yellow, and metallic gold on the top eyelets. Now, my only thing is to Jordan Brand. If anybody's listening over at the brand, they really need to update the shape on the Air Jordan 12. These last releases have been horrible in my opinion. The Blueberry Air Jordan 12 has been bad. The Barron's Air Jordan 12 was also bad. And if you're going to bring back these OG colorways like the Flu Game and the Taxi, just update the shape. I promise you, you'll make everybody happy. But for these, we don't have a specific release date, but they're expected to drop holiday 2025, and the retail price will be $210. Also, these should be available in full family sizing. And that's going to do it for this video. Like always, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a second and haven't done so already, also appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. One more thing, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I drop a new video. Now, I know this video was a bit longer than usual. Typically, I drop about 20 to 30 minute videos, but this is going to exceed that, I'm sure. But I also know that this video will be used throughout 2025. Like always, if you have any questions about upcoming releases or whatever it may be, leave a comment below and let me know your top 5 Air Jordan releases for 2025. For me, the order that I have right now, which could change, at number 5, I have the Air Jordan 8 Aqua. At number 4, I have the Air Jordan 5 Grape. At number 3, I have the Air Jordan 12 Taxi. Number 2, I have the Air Jordan 14 Ferrari. And at number 1, I have the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red with the black tongue. I'm really excited about all these releases. There's a ton more that I plan on picking up, but as it stands right now, that is my top 5. Let me know your top 5 down in the comment section below. Again, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.